It's another quarantine edition of the SS Experience. Bored as hell. So I'm doing another bracket. It's a part of my Bracketology series. So this bracket is my 2000's best athlete. Now, when we talk about the best athlete, it's not just NBA or NFL. That's too easy. I went ahead and tackled of different athletes, different sports. It's just different. And it's a bracket just like the NCAA. So I brung in my dude from ESPN Radio 94.1, Thomas Simmons. Who else I'm going to talk sports with but a guy who actually gets paid to talk sports?
What's going on, Shahid? It's interesting now with you being the host and me being on the flip side of things, but I kind of like this.
Hey, man, I try to let everybody, know how I get down. I'm the producer, board operator on his show. So the Thomas Simmons Show is the very first ESPN show that I've actually spoke on and, gave opinions on. So I always want to give shout out to Thomas Simmons for that love. So, again, I ask everybody, it would be irresponsible of me to not ask you, how are you doing during the coronavirus pandemic? Are you good? You working? How you living right now during this pandemic?
I'm getting by, man. Finding little odd jobs here and there, just figuring it out. But yeah, it's one of those things, dude. The indefinite part of it is what sucks. I think that's what sucks most. I need things to look forward to. Yeah, it's getting to that point where you kind of have to construct the more long-term plan than what you implemented back at the beginning of March. That's for sure. But we straight over here. We're straight over here, Sheed.
No doubt, because 2020 has been a crapshoot so far. So let's get into some modern sports just because, I have you on the line and we haven't had a chance to do a show in about 2 weeks. So something that's been kind of sort of interesting to me is the NBA as far as what they're going to do when the coronavirus is over. I personally think that they should just scrap the remaining 18 to 19 games, maybe do 2 or 3 tune-up games, and then go into the postseason without reducing the postseason. Because a lot of people want to do a 3-game first round, a 5-game second round, and then 7 games for Eastern Conference Championship.
Yeah, like
and
in
the
the bridge
finals.
playoffs.
Exactly. What do you think the NBA should do when we can do stuff again?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I think the when is a big part there because who knows? I mean, if we even get this season back in time, there's so much that we're going to have to. I mean, I think people really haven't thought about kind of the logistics of how we get stuff started back up. We're going to have to test all of these people before we put them back in an NBA arena together. I'm with you, though. Scrap the rest of the regular season. If we get an NBA season at all, just go right into the playoffs. I think the players are fine with that. I hadn't thought about what you said with the tune-up game, and I think what might work here, maybe we use these teams that aren't making the playoffs, and that's your tune-up game. We play a couple of games. Playoff teams are only going to play non-playoff teams for a couple of games. Those can be road games even. Maybe we give these teams that aren't going to make the playoffs a few home games, hosting a playoff team to get some revenue. I like that tune-up idea. Maybe we just do some inter-squad scrimmages, something to work the rust off, get these players ready to go. But yeah, I don't see a reason to play the rest of the regular season. You're going to be so far behind. It's going to be about timing. If we get this season off, it's going to be about timing, like you brought up, and it's absolutely got to be shortened. I think I wouldn't do 3-game series the whole way through. I wouldn't shorten it that far. I think at a certain point, Shahid, we risk doing this for no reason, where people just say, I don't really consider that a real NBA championship. If you hate whoever wins, it's going to be really easy for you to discredit this. If LeBron wins one in LA, a lot of people are going to say, I don't really count that for his legacy. That's the only thing I would worry about is diluting the games down to a point where people say you didn't really earn it. But if we're going to end up doing an NBA season, I think it's got to be just playoffs and that's it. I'm with you there.
Yeah, because the main thing that I don't want to happen is that this NBA season has been a very good NBA season coming down the stretch. You got LeBron and the Lakers. You got the Clippers. You
it's
already
been
know what's
competitive.
going on in
We've
the
been begging
East.
for it.
Exactly. So we can't have LeBron in a position to win a championship and then sabotage him by making him play meaningful games and he's rusty.
It's been brought up, maybe they do this in Vegas or just to pick a central place. I still think people at that point might say, oh, well, he didn't go on the road. I think people are going to dilute whatever happens if we get some sort of playoffs off. What I'd want to do is mitigate that as much as possible.
So this is what Jay Williams suggested, and I just want to know if you think this is stupid. A Eastern Conference ship, like a battleship, and a Western Conference ship, like a battleship, and have all of the conference games played on ships out at sea. What do you think about that?
How desperate are we if we get to that? I mean, I get, if is the quarantine like, we need to go out to ocean. We can't just do something equally as isolated on land. The reason I'm not super expecting anything like that to come to fruition. Do you remember we did this in college basketball, right? We did those Carrier Classics, and like half of them got canceled because the conditions weren't good. The courts were slippery or something like that. There's too much moisture because we're doing this out on the ocean, and the humidity just stuck to everything. I just don't know how reasonable it is. And if we're getting to the point where we're like, oh man, we gotta do this. We gotta find a ship to put these guys on. Couldn't we find an island? Couldn't we go to the Bahamas? They play basketball tournaments for college in the Bahamas. We do one of those things. Get the hotel, turn the dance hall into a basketball court. I think putting guys on aircraft carriers, Shaheed, out in the ocean is way down the line. It's so far down the line, I don't know if they'd get to that. They'd probably just cancel the season before they did a battleship. It'd be incredibly interesting. I mean, it'd be hilarious to have an NBA season played out on a battleship, but I got to think they cancel the season before they go to that.
No doubt. All right, so you can hear me and Thomas go back and forth like that all the time. It's the other way around. Thomas asks the questions and I respond, but it's still a good conversation both ways. The Thomas Simmons Show, 11 to 12 Saturdays on ESPN Radio 94.1. Download the 94.1 app. Listen on TuneIn. However you listen to radio, if you're in the 7.5, you know what it is, 94.1. All right, so going into the 2000s best athlete bracket. So this is just like March Madness in any other way. There are 68 teams or 68 athletes in this bracket, well ranked by the committee. And when I say the committee, I mean myself, because when it's Corona season and there's nothing else to do, pretty much make brackets. But it's pretty well balanced. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and get into the number one seeds in the 2000s best athlete bracket, part of my bracketology series. So the number one seeds, just like in the NCAA, they're the best. It's undisputed. When you refer to these individuals, all you think of is championship excellence. And that's why these four individuals are undisputedly the number one seeds in the 2000s best athletes. So let's go ahead and get it started. Coming out of the Smush Parker region, the number one seed is Kobe Bean Bryant. R.I.P. to Kobe. In the 2000s decade, he won 4 championships. The three-peat with Shaq, and then the championship in 2009, ending the decade. Kobe Bryant has been nothing but excellent throughout the decade. He only won 1 MVP, but that was mainly because of, politics, not really because of play. Normally, when you think about Kobe in the 2000s, we're really talking about number 8 Kobe. The younger Kobe in the 2000s, winning the championship in 2000, 2001, and 2002. So that's really like that early-ish Kobe. Fell off a little bit after Shaq left because of dysfunction with the team. But the second day he got Pau Gasol, which is, another individual that he's somewhere on the bracket. We're going to show our foreigners some love. So Kobe Bean Bryant, man, number one. So the second number one seed coming out of the Jamarcus Russell region, Serena Williams. I didn't even, on the bracket, I just wrote Serena, because when you say Serena and you talk about athletes, you pretty much know what it is. Grand Slam championships. I forget the other tennis championships that they have, Wimbledon. She's basically just been a winner throughout, leading in basically just championships overall as a female. It's not too many women athletes, or just athletes in general. You can put Serena in the class of best athletes, and that's why she's in it amongst, the top 4. And she's number one in the Jamarcus Russell region. So Serena, what's your thoughts on Serena being the second one seed?
I mean, flat out, she might be the greatest female athlete of all time. And then you put her up against she probably might be the best tennis player in the world. Like I absolutely have no problem with her being seated over guys like Federer and Nadal. She can maybe beat them, dude. She can maybe beat them. And when we're talking about success and how many championships you've won and the career earnings, I mean, you maybe put Tiger Woods up there next to her. Maybe someone in NASCAR has won quite a bit of money, but she's on some Floyd Mayweather level winning in her lifetime. So, yeah, she right there with Kobe. We got some strong one seeds in this one, man.
And just to let everybody know, this is all sports. We got NBA, NFL, tennis, NASCAR, hockey, track and field, Olympics, women's soccer, like a lot of sports is represented. So don't think that, this is simple because, we're doing it big. All right. So number 3, coming out of the, what region is this? Let me double check that real quick. Oh, yes. Coming out of the Ryan Leaf region. Oh, the number 1 seed is Shaquille O'Neal. Which is, again, 3 championships early in the beginning. Also won an MVP. Should have won 2 MVPs. Steve Nash stole one from him. We're not going to get into that. The most dominating force in sports. I mean, like, there's been nothing like Shaq before, and there's not going to be nothing like Shaq. He is really the alpha and the omega when it comes to the big man, and winning 4 championships in the decade. Final championship he won alongside Dwayne Wade in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Even though Shaq wasn't Shaq of the Lakers, he was still a good Shaq and contributed well into getting that championship. And that was Shaq's championship to get up on Kobe. So he had a little bit of feeling himself when he won that second, that 4th championship with the Heat. So we think about Shaq as number 1 seed.
Man, he might be the most unguardable athlete of all time, right? Like, he might be the biggest matchup problem in the history of sports. So I don't know if you see, like, now that we're getting so bored in sports, we're throwing out these, like, who would win, like this all-time squad versus this one. Any squad that contains Shaq would always win. It's kind of my opinion. It's just who will guard him. Who will guard him? It's like him and the Greek Freak as far as, like, size and being able to do things you shouldn't be able to do. I think almost the better question now is to find out, like, between Shaq and Kobe, who really meant more to those championships and whatnot. Like, that would be something maybe in a championship that we'd have to hash out. But gosh, might be the most unguardable athlete of all time.
It's not really too much you can do with Shaquille O'Neal. So again,
really?
We can just it's gonna be more debates, but let's just unveil these number 1 seeds. And the final number 1 seed coming out of the Freddie Adu region, Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger Woods didn't fall off until 2009. That's the thing that happened with his wife and the golf clubs at the back of his car. So before that, we don't have to say too much about Tiger. We all watched golf for Sunday afternoons, the red Nike polo and the black Nike hat, the dad hat or the golf hat, because that's what they're really called, golf hats. We know about Tiger Woods. He's chasing Jack. All he's about is majors. And in the 2000s, when it came to majors, he got it done. And not only did he get it done, he blew out the field. I'm not too much of a golf guy. I'm not going front like it, but I know winning when I see it. And Tiger Woods has won.
He had some runaway wins, dude. Until the whole scandal broke down, he was far and away the richest athlete in terms of prize money won in the history of athletics. And it wasn't even going to be close. Obviously, things scaled back, but I mean, dude, when you're so successful, like it's you and Jordan as far as brands go, recognition, like names associated with winning. I think maybe the golf thing hurts him in some people's eyes. How can I put Tiger up there with Shaq, even with someone like Serena? But man, if you're talking about winners, this guy is the consummate winner in the world.
Yeah, and like the money, earnings, Nike, all of that, he didn't lose any endorsements.
He changed the sport. He changed the sport entirely. I mean,
course.
people, every golfer out there who's winning now, you look at Rory, Jordan Spieth, all of these guys are just copying what Tiger did. He revolutionized the sport. He's competing against himself out there. Everyone he's competing with today is just copy and pasting. It's like the TB12 for golf. They're just like, I'm just going to do everything he did. He brought working out into golf, nutrition. He took it to the next level, and that's why it's gotten so much harder for him.
What's that one dude? Ain't it like Koepka? Like ain't he kind of jacked?
Yeah. And these guys, Tiger was the first one of them to really like say, hey, you should go lifting. Like, you want to hit the ball further. It's not just your swing. Your strength matters. It used to be. I mean, these guys weren't like bums. They weren't beer bellies, unless you're looking at John Daly, who would crack a cold one on the course. But these guys were smoking out while they were playing golf. They would go back, they would be drinking. It was pretty casual. It was some Babe Ruth level. I don't really care about my nutrition. And Tiger Woods came in and changed that. And there's not a lot of people who can say they single-handedly revolutionized their sport. Tiger Woods did that.
No doubt. And that's why he's the number 1 seed in the Freddie Adu region.
Absolutely, man.
So the regions, the Smush Parker region, the Jamarcus Russell region, the Ryan Leaf region, and the Freddie Adu region. If you haven't noticed by my bracketologies, the name of the regions is always a horrible player or just somebody horrible that like wouldn't be in a bracket unless it was a bracket about something bad. So I always want to give them their shots, their props too. We all know how trash Smush Parker was.
We should almost do like a biggest bust bracket down the line somewhere.
Ooh, hey, that's a good one. We're going to definitely get that one in. Jamarcus Russell, oh, man, so much. And he wanted to try to make a comeback, too. He's like at 290. That's not happening. Ryan Leaf, he's doing good work now, but nah.
Yeah, he's turning it around.
Yeah. And Freddie Adu, which it's bad because he was like a kid when he played for DC United. But he was supposed to be the guy that's supposed to have made MLS the shit.
Yep, he was supposed to make soccer big, and it didn't happen. I give Jamarcus Russell, I think, a little bit of not a free pass, but in retrospect, hearing about the loss of his grandfather and how it might have been external things that influenced what happened to him. But both him, Ryan Leaf, all these guys really, it's good to see that they've overcome it. Especially Ryan Leaf, he was in a place where he could have spiraled out of control. It's it's nice to see that sports aren't the end of the world for these guys. You have all these expectations. You get there, and we could still root for them in life, even though we roast them in sports.
And that's all this is. This is just roasting them in sports.
Yep,
that's it.
Nothing personal, y'all.
Yeah, nothing personal. We're just roasting in sports. You guys did way more than I ever did, but you guys made it so you can be roasted.
They can see me on the football field. That would be great.
Right. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the Smush Parker region. The Smush Parker region, we already unveiled that the number 1 seed is Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant is going to go against one of the winners in the last 4 game. Now, the last 4 game, I was really struggling. Like, I really was. So then I started thinking, we're talking about sports, right? So I told you we included all the sports, football, NFL, NBA, tennis, hockey, boxing, all of that. So then I started thinking, well, why not college football? I mean, it's a sport. I mean, I know that we try to consider them as amateurs, but they make billions of dollars for corporations and businesses. And we probably gambled on them, and they was accomplished as well in the 2000s. So I said, you know what? I can't think of nobody else to throw on here. So Kobe Bryant's going to go against the winner of Tim Tebow versus Reggie Bush. Tim Tebow, I believe, 2 championships in the 2000s in college, Heisman Trophy, second runner-up the previous year or the following year for the Heisman. Gets into the NFL, wins a playoff game, has a decent winning record. Politics kept him out, but he won from what I saw in the 2000s. Again, this is a 16 seed. We all know how it is. In tournaments, 16 seeds don't beat the number 1 unless you're Virginia. I hate you guys. What do you think about the 16 little playing game Tim Tebow, Reggie Bush? You can break down Reggie Bush if you want.
I think I have to take Tim Tebow over Reggie. Reggie was amazing. Reggie was the human joystick. I mean, he was the video game player in college football, and a lot of kids fell in love with the game via Reggie Bush. But I think what happened, Reggie Bush would have gone down as that guy for the 2000s in college football, and then all of a sudden Tim Tebow came along and people started saying, well, this might be the best college football player ever. Just what he did. I think he lost like 3-4 games, 5 games his entire career at Florida. Everyone remembers the speech he gave, saved that season after the Ole Miss loss.
Yep.
I think I'm going Tebow over Reggie, just simply because if you asked people, if we just went out on the street, first person we saw 6 feet away from them, socially distanced, and asked them, hey, best player in college football history, people might say Tim Tebow. I don't know how many people are going to go Reggie Bush, simply because Tim Tebow overshadowed him like 4 years later.
This is the only reason why I was and another reason why Reggie Bush was added. He also 2 college championships, a Heisman. We're going to say he won the Heisman. We're not going to do that vacated shit. No, we're not going to do that.
It's interesting. They both have, they have the Heisman, the 2 championships, and we just say, well, Tebow's the best ever. No one really says that about Reggie. No one says Reggie's the best running back ever, but plenty of people. It's interesting. It's interesting that it seems to be much harder for Reggie Bush to get to that status. Maybe the whole scandal took a back seat. Neither of them had fantastic. Reggie probably had the better pro career, let's be honest.
And I was going to say that because he at least got a Super Bowl out the deal with
That's true.
Drew Brees and them in New Orleans back in 2000.
But Tim Tebow, now, I don't know if we can include this information because it's not 2000s, but now we do know Tim Tebow is a baseball player. So
Can't do it.
maybe factor that in. All right.
He can be on the 2010 bracket somewhere for the baseball. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
as a minor league Met.
Yeah. He's out there, and he's a name. We'll run out of names, and then we'll just throw Tebow in as a 16 seed to get smacked. Don't give the predictions yet. Let's just analyze the people, because we're gonna smack through the bracket towards the end.
My bad.
Oh, no, you good.
I'm jumping the gun. I'm so excited to do this, Shaheed.
No, you good, bro. We're gonna build this joint up. So, all right, now just like, and you filled out a bracket before, right? Obviously,
Oh yeah.
You in sports, so you know the 8-9 matchup. This matchup is not really an upset here. If you pick the 9 over the 8, the 8 and the 9s are normally evenly matched up. There may be like one thing that might be slightly different in an individual that you can give them the 8 or 9, but it's normally pretty equal. So, in the 8th seed in the Smush Parker region is Venus Williams. Obviously, sister Serena, she has won championships as well. Not as many as her sister, but she is considered to be a face for women's tennis, or maybe tennis overall. But, in women's tennis, Venus is a face. Even if you think about today, which again, we're only focusing on the 2000s, when Coco Gauff beat Venus the first time. I forget which tournament that was. That's special, and it's special because Venus is special. So, number 8 seed in the bracket in the Smush Parker region, Venus deserved to be mentioned. And what you think about Venus? So, and either at this spot or just in general?
Man, Venus, it just sucks for her. Serena's been so dominant. I think she just kind of gets mixed up in all of that. Man, she's right there. Not obviously the same volume of wins, but yeah, you absolutely got to respect her in the 2000s.
All right, so at the 9th seed, again, 8-9's pretty close, Tamika Catchings of the Indiana Fever. Believe she won the championship towards the end of her career, which would have been around 2009. I have to double check that, but either way, Olympic gold medalist. That's something that you can't sneeze at.
Four of them.
Right. And Tamika Catchings is an individual. She's a hooper. You know what I'm saying? And if you follow the women's game, because I just follow basketball. I just love basketball in general. Again, I believe she was the MVP as well. You know what? Let me stop saying believe and just actually pull it up. Like, I don't have 2 computers up real quick.
She did win MVP.
Yeah, she had. Oh, no, I know she did. I was trying to actually get, like, the year. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? She won the MVP. She's a champion, Olympic gold medalist, multiple Olympic gold medalist. And, like I said, her talents deserve to be represented if a lot of people don't even know. If you have to think about it, yeah, go ahead, Google it like I am too, but Tamika Catchings is one of them.
Yeah, she basically made like 10 straight, I think, all WNBA teams. So you got to put her on there for the 2000s if you're including the WNBA for sure, dude. And don't forget, I mean, I think in 2000 they didn't win, but I think UT, where she was, went to the NCAA championship. They were runner-ups, but I mean, this girl basically, her whole career has been playing meaningful championship basketball, either at the college level, the professional level, or the international level. Like, what more can you ask of a basketball player than to be winning championships, WNBA championships, and gold medals?
Exactly. I mean, she spent a lot of time. She had a 15-year career. So when you had spent that much time, you know what I'm saying? And then you also got to think too, if we knew the women's stats for when they go overseas, like a lot of them have to hoop overseas because the money ain't right. So yeah, so a lot of hooping right there. So just moving on, because this bracket in the Smush Parker region is straight lit. The number 5 seed in the Smush Parker region, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, beat everybody. Now, some will say they didn't like the way he fought, and they didn't like the people that he beat. And I'm trying not to do revisionist history. I'm just focusing on the 2000s. Where were you in the 2000s and when you were seeing Floyd get busy? And whether you wanted to see him lose or you had money on him because you knew he was going to win. Floyd was box office. He brought you to the boxing table. I know he was, the lightweight. Everybody likes the heavyweights like Deontay Wilder and the Gypsy King. Then I don't know why Tyson Fury. But Floyd held down boxing, kept boxing interesting for a while. And in the 2000s, nothing dominant. Reason he's not a higher seed, it's individual. He only fights every now and again. It's not nothing that is like on a nightly basis or, a weekly basis. It's like, every couple of months he pops out. That kind of, brings him down, even though he is undefeated. But what do you think about Floyd as a 5 seed with me breaking it down like that?
No, I think that's perfect because I guess in terms of decades, what sucks for Floyd then would be that kind of his best parts of his career were broken up between the 2000s and the 10s. Right? I guess kind of around 2000, he started hitting the big scene, started doing these big time, fights. I think De La Hoya was like 2007, but when he really broke on and became like a household name, that was when the Pacquiao negotiations and stuff were going on, which just unfortunately falls out of the time range we're dealing with. So I think a 5 seed is good there. He was like a 5 seed who was growing into potentially like a 1 or 2 seed for the 2010s, but for the 2000s, he was still in that early stages, still carving out his name, becoming Floyd Money Mayweather. So I think a 5 seed's appropriate, man.
Word. I appreciate that because a lot of people do. I'll break down how I made the bracket in a second because it's very simple, you know what I'm saying? But I just like how they appear on the bracket. You know what I'm saying? Then you
if
think
anyone
about it,
if anyone says Floyd is too low, I think that they're not realizing the timeline here.
Exactly, and a lot of people don't. All right, so going at the number 12 seed in the Smush Parker region, Eli. I like to call him Peyton's little brother, but we respect him and call him Eli Manning. 2 championships in the decade, 07 and, was it? Damn, when was the second? The second one was 07 and...
Second one was 11, I think.
All right, so at least he had 1 championship. Okay, so 1 championship. Beat Tom Brady, undefeated team.
Might have been 2010.
Oh yeah, he still would have.
It's right on that cusp, man.
Yeah, he still fell off somewhere. I hate looking up stuff while I do it. I hate doing that shit. So we all know Eli won 2 championships. I think one of them was in the 2000s, and that's pretty much it. I mean, if he didn't win the second one, that's pretty much it. I mean, you win one, you win MVP. Number 1 draft pick in the 2000s, so obviously somebody thought he was the best. So that's pretty decent right there. Again, championship, beat an undefeated Patriots team, basically shocked the world. A lot of people lost money that day. It's like damn.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's Eli. Eli's obviously he's not the favorite in the bracket, so I don't want to go too much into him. But we all know what it is with Eli, and that's where he
also had he had I think an All SEC appearance in there in the 2000s, and he was an All American. So his college career ties into this, and it was just as good, All
right, well, shoot, whatever props we can give old Elijah. So moving to the number 4, the number 4 seed in the Smush Parker region, Diana Taurasi. Again, Olympic gold medalist. I don't think she won the championship in the 2000s with Phoenix, but her impact on women's basketball during that time period was just legendary because, again, she was a hooper. Trying to think, is UConn somewhere in the 2000s? And, I'm going to definitely check that because if that's in the
She
case,
was UConn 2000 to 2004.
Oh, then you already know
She
what
was
that
in
is. That was all championships. That was all buckets and championships. And then
she had an
NBA.
NBA. She had WNBA in 07 and 09 also.
So Diana Taurasi was just always a hooper. I had more stuff about her, but anyway, we all know what Diana Taurasi means to the women's game. She's still doing her thing now. And being a 4 seed, top 16 individual in the 2000s as an athlete, I think that's pretty good for Diana Taurasi, being in the top 16 of all athletes.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she just like we brought up with Tamika, she did it kind of every level. She won 2 in college, most outstanding player for the tournament in college, wins 2 in WNBA in this time span, WNBA Finals MVP, and she wins some Olympic medals as well. So she's a world champion. She's won the Turkish Cup. I mean, anywhere there's basketball being played, Diana Taurasi has won. Period.
And that's all you can ask for.
Exactly.
If you want to be
all
considered
you can ask
the
for.
best.
Just win, baby.
Yep, exactly. If somebody thinks you're the best, or if you are the best, you qualified to be in this bracket. And speaking of that, this bracket is filled with a lot of MVPs, in their respectable leagues, whether it's NBA MVP, NFL, Major League, how they got the AL, NL MVPs, obviously champions in Wimbledon, majors, track and field. That's easy to do. So if you're talking about 68, people, those are the easiest ones. But believe it or not, it's not even 68 of those to put in the bracket. So that's when you get into, some of the hood legends, the individuals that had stats that maybe played on bad teams and that you didn't really know about too well. Little people like that. So the favorites is not the favorites, but a lot of champions is being dropped now. But we about to get into some shit with some very controversial people and selections as well. But going to the 13th seed in the Smush Parker region, speaking of MVPs, NFL MVP and on the cover of Madden, Sean Alexander.
Yeah, dude, it's that Madden cover I was about to bring up. I think that's what everyone remembers him from. That season, it's almost densified for me. But it's that one season he had. Unfortunately, Tomlinson, I think, broke his record like a year, 2 years later. But for that 1 year, 2005, he was the NFL. He was the NFL for the year of 2005 and got rewarded with the Madden cover for it. So yeah, looking through the years 2000s. You can't overgloss the guy who was literally the year 2005.
Yeah, and I think eventually Sean Alexander should get into if he's not a Hall of Fame already, man. He definitely should be, in the Hall of Fame. And his career was pretty much all in the 2000s, so like this is pretty great. So I can actually just, let cats know what he pretty much done. I think that season you're talking about is like 05, because that's what he had, 05. 1800.
He was the face of the NFL in 05 for sure.
Yeah, so damn near 10,000 yards for his whole career. He ended it in Washington, and that sucked for you, buddy. But other than that, though, man, there's nothing much. I think he played in the Super Bowl. They didn't get it done. Obviously, Pittsburgh.
He carried him to it. He carried him to it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So Sean Alexander, man, that's a good spot right there. All right, so in the number 6 in the Smush Parker region, the 6th seed. Good old Jimmy Johnson. We're going to talk a little bit of NASCAR, and I don't know too much about NASCAR because I don't really watch it, but I know when I watch ESPN, Jimmy Johnson is always on TV because he done won some sort of race, some sort of cup, and he's doing donuts and he's doing interviews. So I'm not going to perk like I know about NASCAR, but I know greatness, I know people. But let me ask you this, though. Do you consider NASCAR drivers athletes? Because technically, I don't, but I know I get a lot of pushback for it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it does have a physical drain on you. It does take a lot of technical skill, and I don't think someone who's not in shape could last the race, a NASCAR race, and also be in good enough conditioned to win. But yeah, when you compare him, for instance, to a Sean Alexander, it does get a little tough. I'll give it to him because I'm not sure how much the average person can do, and I'm not sure how much I could do it. But specifically with Jimmy Johnson, I mean, I think he's one of like 3 or 4 guys in the sport to be a 7-time champion of the entire season. So if you're talking best driver of the 2000s, it's hands down Jimmy Johnson. He won 7 of them, and I think they were all, I think 2 of them were outside of the 2010s, the 2000s.
Yeah, so again, that's why, like I said, being a person who just knows sports, even if it's a sport that I don't really follow and I see it from afar, I'm not ignorant. Jimmy Johnson, he's definitely going to be on this list.
He's tied with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt for the most NASCAR Cup Series championships. So those 2 guys are literally like, that's Jordan, LeBron for NASCAR, and he's tied with them in terms of success. So he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. He'd be like a Mount Rushmore NASCAR type guy.
And I know Petty and Earnhardt, so that's crazy that he's mentioned amongst them.
Oh yeah.
All right, so at the 11th seed in the Smush Parker region, Ray Allen. Now, I want to start because a lot of people think Ray Allen, Boston Celtics, Miami Heat, and then the shit that's going on, with the former players basically not feeling Ray Allen for a lot of shit. Okay, but we're not. Again, this is 2000, so if you remember way before all of that, I'm talking about this bracket is focusing on also Seattle Supersonics Ray Allen and Milwaukee Bucks Ray Allen. Milwaukee, if I'm not mistaken, they either got to the semifinals or the finals. I think they got to the finals against Allen Iverson. Well, that might have been. Damn, flipping those teams around, but Ray Allen was a hooper. Like, he got game. You can't be in a movie if you're not a baller. Like, if you're not a top athlete in any form or any, sort of way. But those Seattle Supersonics teams, those Milwaukee teams that Ray Allen was on, Ray Allen was a lead person well before what a lot of people have seen in the past. But even if you do go down to 2008 and 2009, Ray Allen still balling with Boston and wins a championship. So, Ray Allen, underrated individual. I think at an 11 seed, I don't know, not against Jimmy Johnson. I can't really call upset there, but he's a double-digit seed, but he's kind of powerful. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it hurts him because the time in Milwaukee, the time in Seattle. We talk so much in the NBA about like how small markets, you don't get the shine, and that probably is the reason people. I mean, obviously, you win championships with Boston. People are going to focus on your time in Boston, but also it's Boston. It's Boston. It's Miami. Way more eyeballs there than what he was doing early on, which was when he was winning the 3-point shootouts and he was getting named to all these all-star teams. Yeah, you got to put him on the list, though. He got a gold medal. That's what we're talking about. Every level he's been playing at, he's been winning. I don't know if he won a championship with UConn. This is outside of the time frame anyways, but yeah, one of those guys, just wherever he goes, he hoops, just makes shots.
Facts. Going to the number 3 seed, and I kind of think this is a high seed, slightly too high, but it's justified. The number 3 seed, Dirk. Good old Dirk Nowitzki. Dallas Mavericks championship in, was his championship? No, his championship was after, in the next decade. But when Dirk got to the league, he was a 7-footer that could shoot. And that was something that has not been seen or not been done, like, ever, coming from Germany. Kind of had that, Tony Kukoc type vibe going on, but Dirk was a hooper coming out of Germany. And let me pull this joint up real quick. Damn, this man played for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Damn,
94 to
Dirk.
19. He won that 3-point contest and that MVP right around the same time, 06, 07. Yeah, that was he was a huge part of shaping the game into what it is now, where, everyone on the floor can kind of stretch, everyone can shoot. Giannis is starting to mold his game after him, trying to develop a jump shot. And we talk about, right, like ambassadors in the game. This was a guy who just like we said, Reggie Bush kind of got a lot of kids to really want to play football. he got a lot of kids in Europe to think that I can actually go to the NBA. The NBA is a global game now, and it's a great part due to Yao Ming and Dirk Nowitzki.
Facts, and him being an MVP, which is, one of the main reasons that he's on this decade list is, again, if you're considered the best in your league at a given time, and Dirk probably was second place, third place, and a lot of those MVP races, all pro. So come on, it's Dirk. So slightly high seeded, but like I said, it's justified. Like it's justified. You really can't hate on Dirk. You know what I'm saying? Dirk's that guy.
Yeah.
All right. So the 14th seed, which could be sneaky to a lot of people. It depends on who you ask. But the 14th seed in the Smush Parker region is good old Manu Ginobili. Now, Manu got busy for Argentina. So if you paid attention to the Olympics, you've seen that. Won championships, with San Antonio. I think it was 05, 07. No, not 05, 07. Yeah, it was 05, 07 or one of those years because San Antonio always won championships.
Yeah, it was 03, 05, 07, yep.
Yeah, so a champion, despite the fact that he came off the bench as a six-man, don't get it twisted. He could have been a starter somewhere else, but he chose to sit behind Pop. Well, not sit behind Pop, but sit as a six-man because of Pop, and he won championships because of it. So when I think of six men, I don't think of it like Lou Williams or Jamal Crawford, where it's like you don't want them to start, so you have them come off the bench. Like Manu is definitely a starter because you've seen that with the Olympics. He is a starter and he's a baller, and he took that lesser role, flourished, won championships, and like I said, 14th seed. You might can get busy a little bit, but yeah, Manu.
Yeah, and before he came over to the NBA, he was winning Italian League championships like 2001. He won an MVP there, 2002, comes to the league, sixth man of the year. And this is something that's interesting. Argentina flat out retired his number. Like, no one who ever plays basketball for Argentina will ever wear the number 5 again. I haven't heard of that happening for really any other athlete, where your country retires your number. So you got to be damn good to get that level of respect.
Facts. So the 7th seed in the Smush Parker region, Steve Nash, 2-time MVP. I mean, as a point guard,
even though you disagree with one of them.
Yeah, even though you disagree with one of them, we can't take it back from the record, but we can just mention that one of those wasn't deserved. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's 2. He's a 7th seed, 2-time MVP. Was always getting to the playoffs, but it was just the style of play that, Phoenix ran just wasn't really conducive to winning in the regular season. And even till this day with D'Antoni, we don't know if that's the case. But again, that's what happened with Steve Nash. But as an individual, 2 MVPs, and he hooped, as always. So, 7th seed, Steve Nash. What you think of that?
Yeah, I like that. I like him being there. It's just Dirk has at least the titles. Not that they happen in the 2000s. The title, Steve. If Steve had a title, I wonder what his legacy would be. But I think that's what's lacking for him, and it's not always his fault. But it just wasn't a great playoff career, and the NBA just revolves around what you do in the postseason. So that's what has Steve Nash here as a 7 instead of potentially being like a 3 or 4 had he picked up an NBA championship with that MVP,
or at least in a different region. And I'll get into what's the difference between Steve Nash being in the 7th in this region versus another one, because that's significantly different too. So going on, number 10 in the Smush Parker region is Pau Gasol. One of the reasons why Kobe Bryant got a championship in 2009. And, he's a champion. I mean, he was good in Memphis, and he was so good in Memphis that allowed him to get traded to the Lakers. So that's one and the same. And in Spain, again, he's another one of those individuals in the Olympics. And I'm going to keep mentioning the Olympics because I'm kind of salty that it's like, damn, now we don't get the Olympics too.
Really? We get them, I guess, next year. Is that what we're doing? We're doing them in 2021.
yeah, we get them in 2021, man, but that's gonna be looking funny. You know what I'm saying? Because the numbers is gonna be off. Because it's every 4 years, like 21.
I wonder what they'll do if it'll be 2025 or we'll just keep it. We'll go back to 2024, 2028. So much to be hashed out, Shaheed.
Yeah, man, see, the coronavirus even affected something that had nothing to do with it. So crazy. But Pau Gasol at the 10th seed, that's, not too high, not too low. He's justified. He's a champion. He's good in his country. You know what I'm saying? What you got on Paul or Pau?
Man, I like where he's seated on this one. He was kind of that like second push to help get Kobe those championships. He's been a part. I think he's been a part of some other team. Maybe he just won him in LA. Maybe I'm mixing him up with his brother Marc Gasol. But yeah, he's a name you have to mention in the NBA story of the 2000s. I think 10's appropriate for him. I'm not going to wax poetic, be like, wow, Pau Gasol, just so incredible. But yeah, absolutely tied to some fantastic championships in that decade.
Yeah, because if anything, you can use the bare minimum. You can use the Pippen analogy. He helped Kobe get a championship because, again, the reason that this is called the Smush Parker region is because those years, after Shaq left, Kobe Bryant didn't have no help whatsoever until he got Pau.
Specifically went out and found Pau.
Exactly. So, again, 2000's best athlete, you have to be considered the best if somebody's going to do all of that to bring you in. And again, that's why Pau Gasol is on this list at number 10. All right, so get into the number 2 seed. Now, the number 2 seeds in all of these brackets, in all of these different regions, the number 2 seeds have the same qualities as a 1 seed, but there's like something that's slightly like, it's like you can't put them there just for, it's the same reason why I'm trying to think of a reason is like that kind of like delay and why you don't put them as a 1. But things happen, and we've seen 2s win championships and get up through. So the number 2 seed in the Smush Parker region is Peyton Manning. In that decade, he was leading in yards. He had all of the records. Now, he got drafted in like 99, so 2000 is right when he was getting everything kicked off. Won multiple MVPs. I think he won 3, and he was a co-MVP of one of those 3 with Steve McNair. So obviously winning MVPs is definitely going to get you on this list. Won a championship in, was it 6 or no? Was it? I forget one of those years.
2008. 2008, right?
Yeah. It was one of. It was. I know I was in.
No. 2000. Oh, screw it. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm mixing him up with Drew Brees in my head. The Colts won their championship in 2006. That's what it was.
Okay, so champion and MVP, but there were some times in the playoffs that Peyton didn't get it done, and those is the things that bring you down from a 1 seed to a 2 seed because the 4 top seeds in all of the, in the brackets are undisputed champions. It's like when they was there or they had the opportunity to win, they did it. More times than not, because nobody's perfect, but more times than not, Kobe, Shaq, Tiger, Serena, they won that chip when it was on the line. Peyton dropped the ball a little bit, but again, the regular season MVPs, passing yards, you can't poo-poo that, and he at least got 1 championship out of that time period. You know what I'm saying?
That's dude, winning 4 MVPs in a decade, that's just kind of nuts. I mean, you can maybe claim, not maybe, you can make the claim that you're the best player in your sport over that decade. When you win 4 MVPs, I mean, every other year, the dude was the best player in the NFL. You bring it up though, yeah, it's the postseason for him. I think maybe that just shows us like, maybe we put too much stock into it, but as just a pure athlete who was, when we talk about with basketball, these guys were just hoopers. All they did was win at these levels. Yeah, I mean, all the guy did was throw touchdown passes.
And that's all you could ask for your quarterback. And
Actually,
like I said, he got it done. He always got it done, and like I said, in the regular season, got him there to win, but obviously something happened. Tom Brady, we all know who that is.
It's kind of like a Steve Nash situation where like he was having these MVPs, he was so great, and just maybe the team around him was letting him down a little bit in the postseason. Or I mean, maybe you could say he wasn't good enough to carry that team over the hump. But one way or another, that something was lacking.
Yeah, and 4 MVPs is 4 MVPs, so we're never gonna poo-poo that. So
Absolutely.
the number 15 seed is a funny seed because when you think of this person, you automatically think excellence. But if you focus on time, the 2000s wasn't that great for this individual. It was okay, but it wasn't to the standards that you would have hoped to see, and for obvious reason. So the number 15 seed in the Smush Parker region, former Washington Wizard Michael Jeffrey Jordan. We all refer to him as the GOAT, but that's Chicago GOAT. That's 90s bracket. I can bore you with that if you want me to, and that would be a great bracket. But in the 2000s, he came back in 2001, played until the end of the 2003 season, right before Braun started his campaign for the 2003-2004 season. So we missed Jordan and LeBron by a year. It's okay. And he still averaged, 20 points, played, had good numbers, but he just couldn't lead his team to the playoffs. But he was an older guy. But if you would have ranked him back then, and a lot of people have, they still said Jordan was one of the greatest players. You know what I'm saying? Even at that time, it was mainly because of name. So because of that, I felt, why not throw him there?
He was getting not MVP. He was getting all stars. You could question whether or not he was getting them just because he was Michael Jordan. But he still didn't have them. He still didn't have them in the 2000s. So, are we counting baseball for this? Was there any baseball in 2000? Because he came back to the NBA in 2001. So I don't know. He wasn't as terrible a baseball player either as people make him out to be. He was pretty solid. You can like his hits to his at bats weren't miserable. Like it wasn't really even that bad.
He's just a tall, lanky player for baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like a 6'6" baseball player.
He wasn't gonna ever really make the majors, but he wasn't. You and I couldn't go out there. People act like Michael Jordan went out there and he was just like a regular Joe. No, he really was good enough to be playing in the minor league level. He probably wasn't gonna crack through.
So who's a better minor leaguer, him or Tebow?
Oh, that's a great question. Man. I'd probably still say I'd say Jordan right now. Tim definitely has the opportunity to pass him, but I don't know if Tim has done enough yet. I don't know, maybe. I mean, he's been. I think Tim Tebow. You can't really say, oh well, he's made it to single or triple or whatever, because a lot of that's just kind of name recognition. I'd be willing. I think Jordan still has the better stats. I'd lean Jordan.
Facts. All right, so that right there is the Smush Parker region. So let's go ahead and hurry this up. Moving along to the Jamarcus Russell region, and always some good names in this region right here. Well, not always, but there's some good names in this region. So we unveiled that Serena was the number 1 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region. Number 16 seed in this region. This person... And again, I'm including college in it as well, because that all, leads to branding and stuff, because you could be in college and be considered the best college player of the year, transitioning that to, the pros, and, you can win the best player or rookie of the year, rookie of the year and MVP in the same exact season. Candace Parker, currently and then of the Los Angeles Sparks. I felt bad seeding her at 16. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of names.
You could almost switch her with Jordan if you're. I mean, if I was gonna be real about it, she probably could be higher than 16. But it is tough. It's a lot of names.
I felt bad.
A lot of her stuff. You're right. It was. If we're talking 2000s, it was college for her. She was named a female athlete of the year. I think 2008. But most of her success in the WNBA came after she was in for a few years. So it really is. It's all college success we're talking for that period of time.
I just couldn't poo-poo that rookie of the year and MVP in the same season. I couldn't do it.
That's tough to do.
Yeah, it was just
I don't know
tough.
if that could ever happen in the NBA. Like, I don't know if that, like, Zion would have, it'd have to be.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I mean, because, Candace Parker is a tall woman, like tall, you know what I'm saying, even for the WNBA. So That's a lot.
I'm just trying to maybe in the NFL you could have a Rookie of the Year MVP, like maybe a quarterback. That's tough to do, man. That's tough. I'm trying to think of anywhere where it's like doable. It's just that is so tough.
I mean, maybe hockey.
I don't even know. I feel hockey it's kind of like baseball. You spend so much time coming up. I don't know what they consider a rookie anymore. But yeah, I guess hockey would be a little easier to do it because you do have that time growing and maturing. But man, I can't. I mean, it's so tough to do in basketball. She was going up against other people we have in this bracket. You know, Tamika Catchings was still playing. Diana Taurasi was still playing, and she beat him out as a rookie.
Yeah, it was just that rookie year just came at the end. But in I promise you this, in the 2010 bracket, Candace Parker would be like way better. Just think of it as like Leona or one of those mid-major schools that, you know what I'm saying, they squeak in because, you know, they had a solid year. You know, they're not all the way ready yet, but you know that next year they're gonna come back and wax that ass. And that's what I kind of feel Candace Parker is right now in this particular, you know, bracket of the 2000s best athletes. So going to number 8, again, the 8-9, Brian Urlacher, Defensive Player of the Year. When you think of the Chicago Bears, got to. He just, when you just think about, you know, defense, it was Urlacher at that middle linebacker position. You feel bad that he didn't get a championship, but he put his team at least there. I mean, again, not trying to use current time to now. Boy, you wish they would have had a Urlacher person. I know they got the dude from the Raiders. Can't think of his name right now, but
I know you mean. Yep.
Mac.
Why am I spacing? Yeah, Khalil Mack.
No, Mac. Yeah, Khalil Mack, but Mac ain't Urlacher. You know what I'm saying? So again, I got to give a lot of defensive people their credit. And like I said, when you win Defensive Player of the Year, that's like your MVP. And again, I'm not gonna poo-poo that. You know, so best athlete, Brian Urlacher, obviously Pro Bowler. You know.
And the thing with him, I'll say, is we had another guy at this same position we'll get to in a second, but what's the sexiest position on defense in the NFL right now? It's probably defensive end. Like, that's where the big stars are, maybe corner, but when he was in the NFL, he was a big part of making middle linebacker that really cool position to play. Everyone wanted to be a middle linebacker in the NFL and go headhunting, and it's because of Brian Urlacher and guys like that.
Facts. So yeah, let's go ahead and keep that moving because, like I said, Brian Urlacher he's an individual that he just deserves his respect. And you know, when a lot of people do these rankings and these brackets and stuff, they never mention like defensive players. It's always best QB, best receiver, best running back. You know, they don't really go into the linebackers and stuff like that. So, you know, give everybody their due. And again, when you win Defensive Player of the Year, that means something. So the number 9 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, half man, half amazing, multiple All-Star, Vince Carter. His run in the early 2000s going against Iverson, Ray Allen, that's why I got that time fused, because I know all three of them at that time in the playoff series was all going at it. Vince Carter was winning dunk contests, gold medals, jumping over 7-footers.
His dunk contest, the greatest dunk contest by an individual. I mean, there have been better, more competitive dunk contests, but his dunk contest, that's what I'll say about Vince Carter. Just plain out, most exciting player maybe. This is when I was mentioning earlier about the hood legends or the individuals that they may not have, won championships or MVPs, but they had numbers, they had swag, they had game, and you knew it. So that's an example of, those individuals that, make the bracket as well. So going on to the next person in the bracket, the number 5 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, Ray Lewis. The best defense, second to the 85 Bears, is the 2000's Raven defense. So, we start the decade smacking cats already with Ray Lewis. And again, the greatest defense ever. He didn't win a Defensive Player of the Year that year. I know that was probably something that was a little bit later on down the line, but like Urlacher, you play the linebacker position. They both played the middle linebacker position. That's the quarterback of the defense.
and he held it down. Even when you listen to stories today, when the stuff that he had to endure to be able to do that, we all look at Ray Lewis and it's like, oh, Ray Lewis, you a big dude. But in that world, Ray Lewis is a small dude. So that takes a lot right there. So what you think about Ray Lewis at the 5?
Yeah, he's like the bigger version of Urlacher. Made that position the position to play in football on the defensive side for quite some time. I mean, yeah, he's synonymous with linebacker, not just middle linebacker. You talk about big hit, physical football, Ray Lewis's name comes up.
All day, all day. So the number 12 seed in this particular bracket, the good old Jamarcus Russell bracket, I wish this person could have been seated higher. You know what I'm saying? The committee was struggling. And when I say the committee, I mean me. But you got to win more. Even though this individual didn't win a lot, when he played, you was glued to the TV. And to me, he's one of the greatest. I can't call him the GOAT, but like I said, he's one of those hood legends, you know what I'm saying, that you got to put on the bracket because he's going to be spoken about in every barbershop, every walk of life when you talk about athletes and sports, especially in the 2000s. Michael Vick. Michael Vick, cover of Madden 2004. Damn near could have been on another Madden cover, but I think that would have been at the end. Whatever Madden Peyton Hillis was on, Vick could have been on that cover.
I think that was 11.
I see.
Right?
I'll break that down. Yep. I know it was somewhere towards the
Vic had
end.
that comeback player of the year 2010, that Burt Bell Award for best rusher.
Oh yeah. So okay. So I can't drop that bag on this bracket. All right. So
No,
cool.
I mean it
Damn.
would have been the 2010 season. He would have gotten reward for with the cover though, as a second time. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it would have been dope if he
maybe.
could have. It would have been dope if he could have got it. But simple fact is he ain't get it. That's all good. But played in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles. I think that was back in 2004. So at least he played in some sort of a championship game. But his career derailed, you know what I'm saying, when he had to do that bid. And I think if he probably wouldn't have had to do that bid and played those games, he might could have been elevated up a little bit more because he would have been still a healthy player. You know, not playing for 2 years can kind of, you know, not have you right. You could be okay, but not right. But Vic was a baller. You know what I'm saying? He made quarterbacks play the way that they play now. So that's why I was saying earlier about the people in this bracket influence the people that you're watching today in some sort of way. And Michael Vick was definitely one of them.
Yeah, and I think something a lot of people don't know about Michael Vick. He's the NFL leader in career yards per carry at 7 yards per carry. Every time this guy ran, it was basically a first down. That gives him a significant boost in my mind. Just like the way he changed the game, and that's still all these great running backs and Mike Vick, most yards per carry in NFL history over his career, 7 yards. That's nuts. That's bonkers number.
And you never could bring him down. Like he was just nothing but a straight highlight reel. And again, you know, 12, the 12-5, you know, some, you know, Mike can pull an upset, you know, never know. It's all in how you see the bracket. And, you know, that's what make the bracket dope. Mm-hmm. So the number 4 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, Olympic gold medalist, we're not going to poo-poo this, but I'm not going to act like I know too much about this neither. Michael Phelps. That man's good in water. Pause. Like he gets it. All you do is see him out the pool draped in gold medals. Like that's what I think about Michael Phelps. The Subway commercials. Michael Phelps was just like in his bag, just collecting those gold medals all in the 2000s. Now, I know you kind of get it every 4 years, so we only seen this, you know, on a big scale twice. Let me say 2000, or at least once in 2008 for sure. But 4 or 8, but definitely 8 for sure. You don't see him that much, but when you do see him, he's winning those gold medals.
Didn't they have him race a shark too? Like that's how fast he's gotten. They had him like they did a shark and then they superimposed the shark and had him like swim in open water to race the shark. Like that's all you need to know. Is like Michael Phelps is so good at swimming, we ran out of people. and we're just like, let's have him race a fish at this point.
Oh, we can just drop the mic on that right there because I remember that. But oh yeah, we can drop the mic on that. The man raced animals that
They
swim
ran out of
naturally.
people. He was so,
Yeah.
he was so good at swimming. They said you gotta race a different species.
And it was a shark.
It was a shark.
That's crazy. Like,
I mean,
he wasn't
damn.
even afraid. I would have been like, is he gonna bite me? Like, is he gonna be intimidated?
Well, he wasn't
and
in
try
the
to eat
water
me?
with. Oh, mate, what? I don't remember how it worked with him. Like, he wasn't like right next to. I don't remember. They did. It was some weird thing where they had the shark go full speed, and then he got out in the water without the shark, but there could have been sharks there, and he tried to swim. They gave him like, I don't know. It wasn't like he was in the water, next to a shark going neck and neck, but still, I mean, they ran out of people.
Yeah, that's still crazy. If you're gonna be timed against a shark, like that's bananas.
Exactly.
All right, so at the number 13 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, Darrell Revis, good old Revis Island. When you talk about lockdown corners where like you didn't throw to him at all, the reason why you hear, what's my man's name from San Fran? Sherman. The reason why you hear Sherman popping off at this man, and the reason why you hear Revis popping off at Sherman, because Revis was actually that good. If a person wasn't that good, nobody would respond to you. But the simple fact that Sherman always responds to Revis when Revis claps at him lets you know that Revis was good. Now, I know he won his championship in the later half of his career after he was getting that money, but he was getting that money because they thought he was the best corner in the league. And that went on for damn near the whole decade.
Yeah, he was basically like a mercenary. It was just like highest bidder, come get the best corner in the league. And for a decade, the NFL was like, yeah, that sounds sounds right. That's all you know about Revis Island. That's all you got to say. I mean, he coined the people started using the island phrase for all, Sherman Island. It started with Revis.
Exactly. So when you get to coin something in the NFL, you know what I mean, and it's legit, Revis Island, you're definitely going to be on this. You're definitely going to be on this bracket. 13th seed. Obviously, he didn't get any championships done, but he got paid. So the next person in this bracket, because this is where I kind of feel like I can get into my bag when it comes to sports. Because a lot of people, I don't know a lot about everything, but I know what I know, and I feel like that's good enough. So the number 6 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region is good old the big unit, Randy Johnson. This man was winning Cy Youngs all throughout the decade. And again, Cy Youngs in baseball is like the pitcher's MVP. So we're going to look at that and see who won what. And Randy Johnson ran the decade. Arizona, I believe it was a couple of them. I don't think he won none with my Yankees, but if he did, that's great too.
He beat
but
the
Randy
Yankees
Johnson was
for
pitching. Yeah, right. So what you think about good old Randy Johnson?
Oh man, he might be the fastest pitcher in the history of that sport. I think have you ever seen him when he hit the bird?
Yeah.
That's all.
Hell
That's
yeah.
all people got to know about Randy Johnson. Google Randy Johnson bird, and you'll understand why he is where he is in this bracket.
So look, I was Googling, I was about to Google Randy Johnson, you know what I'm saying, just to remember some of the Cy Youngs and shit. So it starts, so I just typed in Randy John. So it goes Randy Johnson stats, Randy Johnson bird.
Yeah.
Then if you go two downs, it says Randy Johnson hits bird.
Yeah.
So
It's
if
probably
you see
because
that,
of people like me.
yeah, hit
saying,
that one.
Just Google Randy Johnson bird, Randy Johnson hits bird. It's
That's all you gotta do.
It's kind of nuts. I don't know. It's a little jarring to watch, but it's like, damn.
It's like you feel for the bird because he won't doing nothing but just flying and it just all
Just
of a
flying,
sudden,
just
wham.
minding his own business. But yeah, basically, Randy Johnson's like his arm is like the equivalent of like a gun. That's what we found out. And then he went into the Hall of Fame with a 97%. I think he was a first ballot Hall of Fame, which is just, that doesn't happen in baseball. They're so up their ass about that Hall of Fame and voting for guys and making guys wait their turn. And 97% of people right off the bat said put him in. So
Hell yeah. 'Cause, I mean, now I see he was a 5-time Cy Young winner and won the Triple Crown. So in baseball, that's the shit. So
And
just
9 times he
leaving it
had
at
the
that.
most
That's the shit.
strikeouts. 9 times he had the most strikeouts in the league. It's nuts.
Damn, he was 6'10". I know he was tall, but damn. So 6'10", that's like Kevin Durant on the mound.
That's how he was
Just a
able to throw so
long
fast.
dude.
Yeah, he had such long arms. He could torque them. Just so much, just so much crank going into those throws, man.
Like that, like for real, Randy Johnson was walking to him for real. Like his arm,
Oh
like he
yeah.
just dropped that joint right into the glove every time. Long arm, god dang, 6'10", that's crazy. 5'10" would be cool for me, but 6'10", ugh, that's funny. That's crazy as hell. All right, so at the 11th seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, NFL MVP LaDainian Tomlinson. Throughout the decade, he was one of the running backs. You know, if he was in this time of getting paid, he would get paid because in that part of his career, he's leading the league in rushing, wins himself an MVP. You know, he was with Phillip Rivers at the time, so you already know if you're with Phillip Rivers, your playoff season is not lasting long.
Yeah, you almost feel bad for him the way it shook out. They had such great teams that
Yeah,
just
Gates,
never did
him,
anything in the postseason.
yeah,
Was he
Drew
on that
Brees
team
before that.
that was best offense, best defense, and missed the playoffs?
Yeah, the team that
That's
lost
that's
to
just
Brady and them.
well, that team didn't even make the playoffs. Yeah, they had the year where they were the 1 seed and they lost at home to the Patriots. But they also had another year. They were the best offense in the NFL, the best defense statistically in the NFL, and they missed the playoffs because they were the last ranked special teams.
Oh my God.
That's just
So that
that's the Chargers in a nutshell, and it sucks for Tomlinson that he was always a part of that.
Yeah, so at least getting one MVP out of it and leading the league in rushing at least makes you say, it ain't my fault. I did what I can do. And
Oh, yeah.
again, you're MVP, so obviously the best. You know what I'm saying? And in a time or in NFL history, it's not that many running back MVPs. I know we mentioned in the other bracket Sean Alexander, Jim Brown, but it's not that many running backs that are MVPs. So it's rare. So 11th seed is pretty good for him. All right, so the number 3 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, Roger Federer. Now, I'm not that much in my tennis bag, but Federer is known by Federer. And when you have one name and you're known by just that name, that means you're the shit. And I know he's won multiple Wimbledons, Grand Slam. Well, I know Grand Slams is like 3 or something, but look, he won some shit. And a 3 seed is pretty good because he has championship pedigree, and he's up there. You know what I'm saying? With 1s or 2 seeds, but it's more winning with the 1s and 2 seeds than with Federer. But Federer won a decent amount because
hold
they
on,
have
I'm
so many
recording.
they have so many different championships in their seasons. You know what I'm saying? It's not like there's like one championship in a year and then it's the next year. It's like every tournament's like
It's like
something
golf.
crazy. Yeah, the U.S. Open, the Masters, Wimbledon, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So you rack up a lot even if it's in a short time period. And but yeah, man, Federer's good, man. Federer's probably considered one of the male goats if you talk to like people who
Oh
are
yeah, I mean
tennis
he has
experts.
the most Grand Slams out of every male tennis player ever. He's got 20 of them.
Oh well, shit. That's damn good. He's a 3 seed. Shit, got 20 of them.
And I
things.
think over 300 weeks. He was the number 1 ranked tennis player in the world. So he's like the Tiger Woods of tennis a little bit.
Who's the dude that's always on clay?
It's Nadal. Nadal would always beat him on the clay.
Damn, I forgot his ass.
So they have that.
Spoiler
that
alert. Yeah, spoiler alert, guys. Sorry, I forgot him. He would have been good. He would have been good. All right, so in the Jamarcus Russell region, 14th seed, good old the Great 8, Alexander Ovechkin. He did a lot. Now I know he didn't do a lot of like postseason winning, but He was a great player coming out of Russia. He did win an MVP during that time frame. It's just, when you don't win and get to the postseason, well, when you get to the postseason and you're always getting knocked out in the first round and, making it to the second round, it's like whoop-de-doo. And then you get smacked out of that round. And I'm saying this as a person who's a Capitals fan, so sorry if it seems I have like more extra, animosity against him dropping the ball. But when you win an MVP and you're still great while your team's losing, it is what it is. But again, the grade 8's one of the greats in hockey, even in the 2000s.
Yeah, his thing was, I guess the 2000s was more about stats for him than about the winning. But it's like you put him right behind Wayne Gretzky in terms of just goal scorers in hockey. He just puts the puck in the net, plain and simple.
Facts. All right, the number 7 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region. Getting into my baseball bag a little bit. Pedro Martinez. I hated him, and then I liked him. Because he did that Boston Yankees team switch shit that I freaking hate. Why y'all got to come to my team? But then you win, and it's like, okay, it's cool, great. But it's like, damn. But Pedro won hella Cy Youngs. But I'm actually about to pull that up because I fuck with Pedro. Pedro's that guy. Like, if you listen to that guy on TV freaking talk baseball, man, I fuck with that guy.
Man, I forgot he had the Mets in there for 3 years.
Yeah, like he played like an enemy for like hell of my teams and shit. Like, you asshole. When the hell did he win that one shit?
Well, he had 8 All-Stars. I know that.
And 3 Cy Youngs.
I think 3 Cy Youngs. And he had the World Series inside the 2000s.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive decade, honestly.
Hell yeah. So, again, like I said, Cy Youngs is basically, MVPs for pitchers. You know what I'm saying? You rack up Cy Youngs, you definitely can get that bag. And, Pedro done it. So, yeah. So, the number 10th seed in the Jamarcus Russell region is Derek Jeter. Now, Jeter is on the Yankees, so that normally gets you a lot of, like, cred to put you on the list. A lot of his championships was won in the 90s, but he eked out one in 2009. So, right at the tail end, Jeter, you only made this list because you won that championship in 2009. But Jeter's solid. He's the captain. He keeps everything together. Doesn't get in any sort of trouble. It's Jeter. It's fucking Derek Jeter.
It's the captain, man.
Yeah, so, again, he's not a home run hitter. He doesn't, blow you away with those numbers. He gets singles. He gets on base. He'll give you a home run, every now and again, or, especially when it's like, big magical moments. He'll give you a home run then, but, he kept everything together. So the number 2 seed in the Jamarcus Russell region, again, the 2 seeds they're pretty much, they could be 1 seeds, but there's just always something that's off. Number 2 seed is Tim Duncan, the good fundamental. And I think that's probably why he's a 2 seed, because one champion, all right, he won the one in 99, but after that he won, like you said, 03, 05, 07. So there's 3 chips in there. There's 2 MVPs. You know what I'm saying? Really, that's pretty much it. It's Tim Duncan, the great fundamental. Shout out to him coaching. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, he can make that his bag now and, get busy. Want to see that. That'd actually be pretty dope. Like, damn, Tim Duncan coaching? Like, this nigga never even talked. Now he's coaching? Wow.
It happens soon enough.
So I'm down for Tim Duncan, you know what I'm saying, to coach in the 2020. So, but for the 2000s, like I said, man, 3 MVPs. I believe he won Finals MVP of 2 or 1 of them. I forget which one which one Tony Parker took. But yeah, it's Tim Duncan.
And he was so quiet about it too. I think it was kind of what's cool with him is the way it was so casual, very reserved. How he was one of the best athletes of the 2000s.
And I think that's probably what made him a 2 seed. If he was a little bit more flamboyant, maybe just a little bit, like talked a little bit more trash. But man, like I said, man, it's 2 seeds. Man, you know how 2 seeds get busy in this tournament.
Oh yeah.
All right, so the 15th seed in the Jamarcus Russell region is CC Sabathia. Now, he's a 15th seed because the back end of the 2000s was a hell of a good career. Won the Cy Young in '07 or '08, I think it was '07. Gets traded to the Yankees and then wins the championship in 2009. And he was actually, a pitcher during that championship. It's not what you remember of him now. It's the old head. Like he was actually pitching, during that championship run. And again, it's the back end of the 2000s that puts him into this list because that back end of his career allowed him to do a lot and propelled him into the future. And it was a good run. Like I said, Cy Young, MVP. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, especially out of a pitcher. Just deliver strikes and get it done in the postseason. And when did he swap over to the Yankees? That was kind of right at the tail end of the 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Teixeira.
Yeah, he put the Indians on the map for a few seasons though. I mean, he really pulled them through the postseason. So you got to respect CC for that.
Yeah, and again, when teams like the Yankees and the Lakers and the Cowboys do hell of a lot to get you, like I said with Darrelle Revis, and they get you, that means you're considered one of the best. And like you said, that Indians time, CC was getting busy, and he cashed in towards that tail end. So that's pretty much the Jamarcus Russell region. Now going into the Ryan Leaf region, I had to make one edit, and I'll explain to you why. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to shout him out, you know what I'm saying, when we get there. I had to make one edit. And it's funny as a bitch.
All right.
All right, so in the Ryan Leaf region, we mentioned Shaq is the number 1 seed. The number 16th seed in the Ryan Leaf region is Roy Halladay. R.I.P. to Roy Halladay. He won Cy Youngs, and he's lowly seated. I know. But damn, there's a lot of guys up here, man. That's all I can say, man. There's a lot of guys. Not gonna get too much in my bag about Roy Halladay, but we all know that he put up stats. He was one of the greats doing this thing in Toronto, and I forget where he was at before then, but yeah, man, good old
I went
Roy Halladay.
Toronto to Philly. Yeah, I think it was just Toronto and Philly. Yeah, it's just all them. He got the 2 Cy Youngs in the decade. Most wins, I think, 2 years in there. Maybe not quite the level of the 2000s that maybe Pedro had, but darn, towards the end of that decade, he really started to kind of jump off. The earlier part of the 2010s is kind of Roy Halladay's, like, that's when he was king of the MLB, and we just barely got in front of that with this time frame.
Hell yeah, 8-time All-Star, and they threw him in the Hall of Fame. Did they? Why did it say that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He got an 85% on his because it was posthumous and everything, and I mean he deserves it anyways. But definitely a Hall of Famer.
Man, I just hate it when they get them things when they go, man. That shit sucks. And you know what? I just want to say this because I like saying this on every mic. I swear, if y'all give Pete Rose the Hall of Fame or you let him in the Hall of Fame when he dies, y'all are trash. I'm just putting it out there. I just don't want to see that shit. Like, I just feel like that's gonna happen. They don't want him to see it. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, man, Roy Halladay, man, he's one of those guys, and he's underseeded, but we all know who the favorites are. So again, I just do that just because let's talk about them. You know what I'm saying? Because they were good players. Mm-hmm. They put in the work. You know what I'm saying? When you win Cy Youngs and you win MVPs, it's sports. Let's shout everybody out. All right, so the 8th seed in the Ryan Leaf region is Roger Clemens. Now, fuck the steroid shit. Like, let's not do that. I just want to talk about the play on the field and just talk about the game. I don't want to say, was he juiced in and what was he doing? I don't care. I know what I saw. You know what I'm saying? And Roger Clemens got busy. Again, multiple, Cy Young winner. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like I didn't want to get too much in my Roger Clemens bag because he did do a lot of dumb shit. But like I said, play on the field, Roger Clemens was legit.
Yeah, I
Seven-time
think
Cy Young ringer, actually.
and he split a World Series MVP with our guy. We were just Randy Johnson as the losing team in that World Series. So if you can be the MVP, co-MVP while you're on the losing half, tip of the cap, man.
Oh shit, and the dude said, "Oh wow, that's fried as hell." Oh yeah, so what's that? A seed? Oh yeah, damn, that's kind of good and it's kind of bad, but the ninth
I
seed
think it's
in this
appropriate.
region. Oh no. Oh yeah. But the ninth seed is kind of interesting to me though, because MVP, won a chip, won a Finals MVP. When you do that in a decade, and especially when your teams are good throughout, and you go to another championship, even though you lose, you're good. You're damn good. And I'm talking about Kurt Warner, MVP, Finals MVP, got the chip. The St. Louis Rams was always there, like the greatest show on turf. When you have an offense that's, they have documentaries about the greatest show on turf. Wait, hold on. Damn, now I'm trying to remember. Was that 99 or was that 2000? I think that was 2000.
It was 2000 and beyond.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, because the Patriots freaking squeaked one in on their ass. Yeah. So anyway, but Kurt Warner Hall of Famer mainly because of that time frame. So again, if people say you're great and they say you're the most valuable player, no matter what you know or don't know, you should know that they're considered one of the greatest of the time. So
Yeah, he was the
Kurt
best
Warner.
best quarterback in the year 2001, and I think that's enough to make this bracket.
All right, so the number 5 seed in this particular good old Ryan Leaf bracket is Randy Moss. He put up some of the greatest numbers, had some of the greatest games. Towards the time in New England, that was legendary. Even though they didn't get the chip, but doggone Minnesota, it just sucks that wide receivers don't get the opportunity to win MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard for wide receivers to get that because that means the quarterback has to feed them, and then the quarterback always gets the award.
And the quarterback not get the award. Yep.
Yeah, so Moss for that time frame, again, is the reason why he's wearing a Hall of Fame jacket today, is because of what he did in this decade.
It's good that he's in a Shaq bracket because when I was talking about Shaq as the most unguardable player in sports, the other guy I was going to bring up was Moss, being just a guy you really can't cover. I mean, he's always open. The term mossing is a term for a reason because it didn't matter where you were, he would find a way to catch the ball over you and make it look like you weren't really there the whole time. So gotta have him on here.
Right. And like I said, when I just think of Randy Moss, man, it's just a lot of good catches, a lot of just good memories, and a lot of kids wanted to do the things that Randy Moss did. So obviously, Randy Moss is always going to be on the list. So the number 12 athlete in the Ryan Leaf region, I slightly want to get on my bag with this one because when you're trying to create a bracket, it's like you're thinking of different sports, you're thinking of who did what, you're thinking of who's a name, you're thinking of who's considered great. You obviously think of the MVPs, who won the championships. Then I'm starting to run out of gas a little bit, and I'm just like, bro, like who the fuck else? You know what I'm saying? Can I think of like who else is like fucking good? And then I remembered somebody, and then I looked them up, and I was like, okay, yes, you definitely qualify. You know what I'm saying? To be on this shit. So the number 12 seed of the Ryan Leaf region is Torrey Hunter. Now, what makes him dope to be on this list is because he's a 9-time Golden Glove winner. So that means for 10 years of the decade, he's won a Golden Glove. Now, the dope thing about him winning 9 Golden Gloves is that he's won them at 2 different positions. I just thought that was like the illest shit ever.
Yeah.
And I know in baseball circles, people speak of Torrey Hunter. I know he probably doesn't get the recognition that he deserves because he, bounce around from team to team. He's always, getting, trade dumped for, rebuilding or, they might want to try to send him to a contender and then he gets busy and then he goes somewhere else. You know how that bullshit goes. So, but Torrey Hunter was good, man. Like I said, if you win 9 Golden Gloves in a decade and then you got 2 Silver Sluggers, 5-time All-Star. Yeah.
9 years in a row, he was the best defender at center field in baseball.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So that's pretty much my bag on Torrey Hunter, why I feel like he should be on the list. And, 12 seed, it's not too bad. There's favorites that's going to get busy no matter what. But, just to have Torrey Hunter on the list for what he did should always be recognized.
Yeah, dude. I mean, 9 years running of being the best guy defensively at your position, that's incredible. How on top of your stuff you got to be for the decade.
And I just thought it was dope because he did it in 2 positions. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. So you switch to another position, and you're still so I just thought that was dope. That was ill. So the number 4 seed in the Ryan Leaf region is Terrell Owens, good old T.O. Again, sort of like Moss, not too much winning. He and I'll say this, he led the Eagles, to the Super Bowl in 2004. Mm-hmm. But San Francisco was good in the early part of the 90s. He leads Philly, still getting busy in Dallas. Like everywhere T.O. went, he produced. Now, whether his team won wasn't his fault because he produced. Now, he may have dropped a pass here or there or a lot in key moments that, could have led to wins. But, his stats is his stats. And, unfortunately, it took him 3 years to get into the Hall of Fame. But, again, he's a Hall of Famer because of what he did in this decade.
Yeah, and you said he produced. That's it. That's the definition of T.O. Production, man. It's him and it's Jerry Rice. If we're talking yards and catches and just producing every single year. Unfortunately, he didn't see the same team success as Jerry Rice, but yeah, I don't know if I put him up there as a matchup nightmare the way as Randy Moss, but in terms of someone is going to execute consistently, guy could run every route. He was a threat every way, shape, and form. He was a threat on a screen. He was a threat on a slant. He was a threat on a fly. Every route that he ran, he could score on. There wasn't a play in the playbook where he ran a route that couldn't potentially be a touchdown.
Yeah, so when I just think of T.O., I just think about just all of the...
Just consistent throughout his decade, really.
Yeah, like everywhere he went. Like even when he linked up with Chad Johnson in Cincinnati, he was good.
And it wasn't always great quarterbacks either. I mean, Donovan McNabb, Tony Romo, those guys are like on the edge, the fringe of the Hall of Fame. Jeff Garcia isn't going anywhere near the Hall of Fame. And T.O. is.
Man. Yeah. I mean, they ain't letting McNabb in. I don't know why, but he be all right, though.
He either way, if you think he's in, you think he's out. And same with Romo. If you think he's in or if you think he's out, he's right on the cusp, one way or another. He's not, and T.O. played with both those guys, which isn't, I'm not trying to say he played with bad quarterbacks, but he wasn't out here playing with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and certainly in San Francisco, he didn't have any studs.
Right.
Did he have, I don't think he overlapped with Steve Young or nothing like that. Pretty sure it was Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, he definitely had Jeff Garcia and Jim Rattay. If he did have Steve Young, it was probably like towards like the back end, but probably it didn't overlap. I don't really remember that joint.
He got to the Niners in 96.
Oh, yeah. Then that was a wrap then. All right, so I didn't want to cheat the bracket, right? Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn. I got Moss and To 4 or 5, but in the same freaking region. I mean, they gonna be in the round of 32. I'm like, that's kind of. I mean, it's a good conversation, but damn, I didn't want it that early. So I'm not gonna cheat the bracket. You know what I'm saying? If the bracket plays out the way it plays out, I leave it the way I leave it. Cause you basically got to seed. You basically got to think who's a seed, who's a 1, who's a 2, who's a 3, who's a 4, and then you have to organize them seeds themselves. Like who's the better 1 seed, who's the better 2 seed, da 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 da. So by the time you do that, and then you organize the bracket with the 1 seed playing the least ranked of the seeds, and then the 4th seed playing the highest ranked of the seeds. To and Moss end up in the same bracket. Kind of sucks, but yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna cheat. Yeah, so I'm not gonna cheat the game. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna have a good, round of 32 talk with Moss and To. Kind of wanted to be a little bit later, but fuck it. All right, so yeah, what's your damn, I'm gonna fight. Yeah, thoughts on To?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just production everywhere. Production everywhere. Every place he went, didn't matter.
Oh yeah.
No matter what route it was, he could take it to the house.
Yeah, I forgot. Damn, bugging. All right, so the 13th seed in the Ryan Leaf region, he's a great, wasn't the best, but he was good at what he did. He eked out a championship. I'm talking about Jason Kidd. Now, again, if we're talking about the 2000s, we got to remember early 2000s when he led the New Jersey Nets to the NBA Finals in 02 and 03, losing to the Lakers and the Spurs, respectively. And, that's nothing to poo-poo at. Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. Lakers with, Spurs with Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, all
yeah,
of them.
the teams just weren't good enough for Jason and Yao, who we'll get to in a sec. But both of these guys that we're mentioning here, just too many good teams, too many great teams for guys like Nash, who we brought up, Ray Allen, to win it on their own.
Yeah. So he eked out one with Dirk. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
no
but when
shame
it's
in,
consistently,
no shame in that.
when there's Shaq and Kobe for all those years, and then you got the big three in Boston for all those years, you got the trio going on in San Antonio. It's tough. It's tough to do it by yourself or just with 2 guys. Yeah, like you've been saying, for a lot of dudes in this bracket, the team wasn't there for him.
Because Jason Kidd, at first he had Kenyon Martin, he had Richard Jefferson.
They had
Kerry
some good
Kittle,
teams. They certainly had some good teams, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, it's not
there
Shaq
were too
and
many
Kobe.
better. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I just wanted to add those names because I didn't want, people to think like, dang, Jason Kidd played with absolute garbage. No, he played with good players.
Good teams.
Those players just wasn't good enough to beat Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, when you're going up with a team that has 2 all-timers or 3 all-stars like the Spurs, even the Pistons were a solid team during the 2000s, probably deeper and better than what he was getting in Brooklyn.
And I love,
or not Brooklyn. Or was it Brooklyn by then? I don't know, dude.
Man, they're still the Nets regardless.
Yeah, it was the New Jersey Nets then. Jeez, we move these teams way too much.
Yeah, and I love Byron Russell, man, but no offense, man. Byron Russell is not Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich.
Dog, I think most people don't even know who Byron Russell is, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Not Byron Russell, Byron Scott. My bad.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck.
Byron Scott. Yeah.
I don't know why I just went.
Yeah,
with
because Byron. It's Byron. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Byron Scott. Lakers great back in the day. He was the coach, but he's not Pop and he's not Phil. So Jason Kidd, still eked out that championship with Dallas, but Jason Kidd was a good player. 13th seed, I don't think it's bad. It is what it is. All right, so the number 6 seed, in the Ryan Leaf region, Yao Ming, number 1 overall pick in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 2002? I think it was either 2002. Number 1 overall pick. Chinaman, 7'3". Dominant. He was the leading all-star. He was making all-star teams, but let's remember that China's population is hella inflated compared to ours. So, yeah. So when I say Yao Ming was a multiple all-star, he deserved to be an all-star because he hooped. He played. But, yeah, if you look at the numbers, it's inflated because of China. Wasn't that many Americans voting for Yao, unfortunately. We had Shaq, so it is what it is. But Yao was good. You know what I'm saying? Gave Shaq hella fits. Even Shaq said it on documentaries, if you watch now, that the hardest person that, Shaq had to play against and through is Yao Ming. And if Shaq, a 1 seed, is saying that Yao Ming is a hard individual to, play against and, maneuver around. And the Houston Rockets was good, had Steve Francis, early and then transitioned to Tracy McGrady. So, Yao was on good teams, but injuries kind of killed him in the end.
China need to retire his number. We talked about the Rockets retired his number. We talked about with Manu Ginobili how Argentina retired his number. This man won gold medals in FIBA. I mean, they were the best team in Asia while he was there. He took them to, I'm pretty sure, the Olympics. Was winning all kinds of Chinese basketball league MVPs and stuff. Definitely the best player to ever come out of China, best player to come out of Asia. I mean, you look at Rui Hachimura. That's a guy who probably is playing basketball because of a guy like Yao Ming, who blew it up over there in Asia, Eastern Asia. Same thing as Dirk, really. What dings him is Dirk at least has the title. Came in from overseas and changed the game with his style of play and with his global appeal. So you got to show him the props for it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, injuries is just a thing that hurt him in the end. But, he was global. He had a brand. That's the reason why, the Houston Rockets till this day, is rocking with China so hard is because of, that link with Yao Ming. So, like I said, man, got to give players their props, man. And he was definitely considered, one of the best, man. Brung a lot of Asian players into the league, after him that gave them, inspiration to play. So that was dope. So the 11th seed in the Ryan Leaf region is a champion as well, Defensive Player of the Year multiple times in the NBA, Ben Wallace. Again, at his size at 6'9", playing center, trying to beef up again. If you remember those finals in 2004, Ben Wallace had to check Shaq. Ben Wallace is 6'9", Shaq is 7'2". And Shaq, now Ben Wallace is big for he's big, but nobody is Shaq big. And he put in work against Shaq to win that chip in 2004. Defensive Player of the Year, 2 times. Defensive anchor of the Detroit Pistons, gave him, that defensive bad boy style back from the 80s. It's not a favorite, It's not, maybe there's an upset in the making, who knows, but, Ben Wallace still got to be speaked on.
And we talk about these guys winning gold gloves. Torrey Hunter, he basically did the same thing. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 02, 03, and then 05, 06. Back-to-back years twice. What more do you ask of a guy who's calling card his defense?
Beginning of the decade and towards the middle with a championship in the middle, all of that.
I'm pretty sure, 02 and 03, he wasn't just the Defensive Player of the Year. Also, he was the rebounding leader. And in 02, he was the blocks leader. So, 2002, he was the best defensive player in basketball, period. Like, no matter how you phrased it, no matter what your parameters were, it was him. So, you got to, like we saying, guys who are masters of their craft getting put in here. And that's the point.
Yeah, and I'll say he's Draymond Green, is his son. Because, Draymond Green, I'm not obviously not as aggressive with the rebound and all of that but Draymond can shoot.
Well, the game's also different now. It's not as physical. It's not as about going inside. So the opportunities for that kind of play aren't as there as often.
Yeah, but that same person who's like he's not a star, not really, but he does a lot of good stuff, and that lot of bit of good stuff we can make that into a star. That's the Draymond Green effect. And I think Ben Wallace, being able to do his things, let people know, like, well, shoot, if I can't score like that, if I can do, rebounding and blocking and all of that, I can at least get money. And he went to Virginia Union, the school, out in the, CIAA, playing the same conference as Virginia State. And me going to Virginia State, knowing how small those gyms are and how there is no basketball energy like Kentucky, UVA, or anything like that, to come out of there and do what he did and make this list, I have nothing but respect, and he's definitely going to be mentioned. All right, so the number 3 seed in the Ryan Leaf region, I don't care what you say about him. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say his name first because I can't say the back end without giving away who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Alex Rodriguez. This man won MVPs out in Texas. I don't know if he won one with the Mariners, but I know he dropped 2 MVPs out in Texas. And again, when the Yankees want you, you know what I'm saying, they're going to drop that bread because they think that you're the best. Now, even though A-Rod didn't, he was there for 11 seasons, but we're talking about just in the 2000s. You know, he was there for a while and then win a shit, you know what I'm saying? But we got it done in 2009. So he's a champion and a 2-time MVP. I don't give a fuck about what y'all talk about with steroids because he ended up, man, A-Rod is just stupid for the 2000s. Now he's great. That man's PR team and his glow up is, oh, man. We all want to be like A-Rod today. Shout out J-Lo. But A-Rod, man, he's a 3 seed. You know what I'm saying? 3 seed, very high in the Ryan Leaf region.
Yeah, his Texas, I mean, it feels like, I feel like we're going back so far now. Damn, this guy been playing baseball forever. He was, I'm trying to decide where he was better at this point because now it's kind of coming back to me how much he really did when he was playing with the Rangers. He even had a few years with the Mariners, 1 year during our time period. But what was he like a 2-time MVP with the Rangers? I think just 1-time MVP with the Rangers, but the Hank Aaron Award, he actually had
A-Rod was good.
Yeah, dude, his 2000, I think maybe kind of the dragging of the name through the mud when he was doing, when he got doing steroids. I think people, he had a few down years and everyone said, oh, A-Rod just kind of sucked and we paid him too much. Maybe that's why I'm remembering him as not being as insane as those numbers say, because it always felt like he wasn't living up to the money. But damn, I mean, he killed it. He killed it during this decade.
He was a 3-time MVP. Now, it says 14 All-Stars, so I'm not assuming how many of those is in the 2000s. 2009 World Series and 2 Golden Gloves.
Home run leader, all those years he played with the Rangers.
Yeah. So, okay, so the black must mean that's when he must have led, huh? Okay, damn. Led in runs, led in at-bats. Hella times he led in runs, led in home runs. Shit, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005, 7 led the league in home runs. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it seems like A-Rod is a failure because there was more times than not he didn't win a game that meant something. But his numbers were what they were, and he got busy. So Alex Rodriguez a 3 seed, and again, those are the small differences between being a 2 seed or a 1 seed. There's a little dumb shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But it happens. So at the 14th seed, so this is where I had to make an audible. Because when I was making, Thomas, when I tell you this is some tiring shit, this is some tiring shit. So I had a name in the bracket, and there was somebody else who needed to be higher, so I had to move this name lower. But when I moved that name lower, I forgot. I must have deleted it, and I forgot who it was. And I never put him. And I never put him back, because when I was talking to our good old friend Brian Benish, you know what I'm saying? Sunday Smack Talk. He made me realize I forgot somebody. And then I was reading his email, and I was like, wait a minute, hell no, I didn't forget him. Then I looked at my bracket, and I was like, I did forget. That's the name. That's the fucking name I forgot. And I omitted him from the bracket. But I told him I was going to put him up there. So I'm going to replace this person right here, because this was one of the names of, like, when I was trying to, like, force out some shit. So the number 14 seed is going to be Sidney Crosby.
Okay.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby. I'm gonna put Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby's about to be there. So I'm not gonna get too much in my hockey bag because, like I said, I'm not too much on hockey. But I know that he beat my Washington Capitals plenty of times to win the Stanley Cup. I know he's an MVP in his league. Again, one of the main reasons why you make this list. And Sidney Crosby is, I don't know if he is now, but I know then he was considered a face of baseball. Like when you spoke about baseball and all of that, like I said, with the the Penguins, and him always being in the playoffs, he's always in, the limelight, getting to the chip. And again, include all type of sports, and, he's great in his sport, and, want to acknowledge him. Shout out Brian Finish for making me forget.
Yeah, you probably put him ahead of Ovechkin almost. And, not almost, definitely, especially for 2000s in hockey. He's the face of the NHL for that decade.
So, but I'm also
even though
I'm a
Flyers fan saying that. I'm a Flyers fan saying that, just for everyone to know. No
bias.
Yeah,
So I'm a Capitals fan. I don't like them. You're a Flyers fan. You don't like them. But we good. You know what I'm saying? We're not hating. So this is what I want to do. I want to add, I got to do this now. You know what I'm saying? Because the person who I was about to erase off the list, I don't want to erase off the list because he has a story and it deserves to be told and it deserves to be spoke about. So I'm going to do the committee. We're going to add a team. We're going to add a person. Technically, Sid's the person that we added, but we're going to mention somebody else. We're going to make it the play-in game for the 14th seed in the bracket. We'll talk about that later, which one goes. But co-NFL MVP, first time it happened. It has never happened again. Probably will never happen again. But if you share an MVP with Peyton Manning, I mean, what the fuck? And I'm talking about Steve McNair, R.I.P. The Tennessee Titans was like, he was Cam Newton before, Cam Newton now. Except more, I can't even say more Brockler. He just wasn't as fast on his feet as Cam, but, got to the Super Bowl, was like an inch away, of beating St. Louis. Like an inch, like literally a freaking inch away from winning the championship. But shares an MVP with Peyton Manning. I think it's the 03 joint. But Steve McNair, man. R.I.P. to Steve McNair.
And remember, he's literally 1 yard away from us adding Super Bowl champion and maybe Super Bowl MVP to those accolades. 1 yard. He's as close as possible to having that added to his list. If I wonder how different the legacy of Steve McNair would be, aside from I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of how it would have changed his life and his mental state, but had he won that Super Bowl, how differently we would remember him.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? 1 freaking inch. You know what I'm saying? Just 1 freaking inch.
We can give him Trent Dilfer's Super Bowl. Let's just do that. Let's give him credit for Trent Dilfer's Super Bowl. Go back and do it retroactively. Exactly.
Only if we can do the Thanos and just go back and change reality.
Snap
be
the
like,
fingers,
no,
man.
This happened. Right.
It's for the greater good.
You know what I'm saying? Change all of that shit. Bring back Steve McNair and be like,
maybe
you actually won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Real rap. You know what I'm saying? But R.I.P. Steve McNair, man. You deserve to be on the list, man. You was a great, man. You were, not won a chip, but won MVP. You deserve it. All right, so the 7th seed in the Ryan Leaf region. Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. NFL Super Bowl champion, Troy Polamalu. They say he did what the hell he wanted on the field, and he just got it busy. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Clark talks plenty of time on ESPN that they be calling plays. He be asking what's going on, and Polamalu, he just be like, you going to do what you going to do? And it's like, Polamalu just do what he going to do. He gets the picks. He makes the sacks. He's around the ball. If he's not a Hall of Famer, he is a Hall of Famer, or he's a future Hall of Famer. Either way, he's getting in or he's already in, but I know those accolades is coming or already there. But yeah, man, Troy Polamalu, man, he's one of the great defensive players, you know what I'm saying, of Steelers history and NFL history.
And what made him great was his like freestyling. And it led to some crazy plays. I don't know if you remember him jumping over the line on like a 4th and goal from the 1 yard line. This dude just had like a sixth sense. Just knew the future of football. And he ties right in with that era of big hitters. Like it was safeties and middle linebackers when Urlacher, Lewis, Polamalu. This was like the big hit era of the NFL. I mean, there were probably big hits back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, but this was like the
last of the dying
hitters were the guys.
Yeah.
This was kind of the end of big hitters being the big names on defense, and then it moved to pass rushers and lockdown corners. But these guys were the last of them.
Yeah, man. Like when you think about big hits, it's definitely Polamalu, Lewis, and all of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? They definitely couldn't do what they do, you know what I'm saying, in the 2010s and definitely today. But in this decade, it was the last of it, the last of hand checking, the last of big hits, the truck stick. I wonder, can you even do truck stick anymore? Like, I haven't played Madden in probably like 10 years.
Yeah, you can.
Like, but I remember the last time.
It's not as aggressive now.
No, see, that's the thing, man. The truck stick used to be boom. Like, if I try to hit it with the same boom effect, I don't want it to be like touch and no.
No, the NFL the NFL sat down with Madden and said, "Hey, we can't have concussive looking hits in this video game anymore," and they took it out. That's because I don't know if you remember the Colin Kaepernick thing when they took out Big Bank because
the song, right?
Colin Kaepernick, yeah. They took it out and then they replaced it with eventually people realized, so they replaced it with a version where it was like his name was just censored out. But that's like this is where that relationship with the NFL, like getting to control the product, kind of started when they realized like, oh man, we can't have the video game like looking like the aggressive, like we're encouraging this aspect of football. But yeah, you can't. The truck stick's there, but it's not what it used to be, man. We got a little off topic. That's my thing, though.
No, that's how that's exactly how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
a little Madden
really
history for you folks.
Yeah, I'm really freaking salty. You know what I'm saying? Because like that used to be the thing where dude catch the ball, you about to try to run and hit him, and if you hit that truck stick the wrong way, you trying to hit him real hard, you end up like missing a tackle, and then the dude scoring. You be mad as a bitch, like damn, like shouldn't try to use that truck stick. You know what the fuck you doing? But I'm gonna get back on Madden. You know what I'm saying? Probably this time
quick.
period.
So
you know what I'm saying?
You've been busting out because I know people have been busting out like NCAA 14. You've been digging through these old video games. I just realized I have NCAA basketball 09, so I might play a little March Madness for myself.
Nah, bro. Like that's what I was just about to say. Like I'm really thinking about just going ahead and investing in a TV, a game system, and then because in real life I don't have time to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know.
But
me.
now,
like, now I do. But see, I know me. And I'm the type of person that's going to play a video game and then be like mad addicted to it and then like not want to go
then
anywhere.
Not be productive.
Yeah, like I've done that shit in college. You know what I'm saying? Like when I had it in my parents' crib, it was always like the game system was actually in their room. So it was like if I played it, it was in their room, and so it wasn't popping like that. So even now, it's like if I try to play that shit, it's gonna be like all fucking day, especially if it's like basketball. Like I might get into like some Call of Duty. Like that was like the last kind of like shooting game I got into. And I know that now, or actually even back then, you can play online and fucking like shoot everybody. And it's like just like a big ass world that everybody's stuck in and people got their headsets on looking crazy because they're plugged into a game. See, I don't want to be that guy. I just want to play a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like an arcade. Play a game, stop. Not live it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. You want to do it casually.
Yeah, I don't want to live that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just want to have a one night stand, not a whole relationship with a video game. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is your time, man.
Oh yeah, this is definitely time. You know what I'm saying? You can't 6 feet distance, everybody. 6 feet distance.
All right, let's dive. What we got? T-Mac here, Bonds. Is that what we into? Greg Maddux.
Nah, yeah. The 10th seed in the Ryan Leaf region is doggone Greg Maddux. Now, he's kind of like he's like super old school in the early 2000s, winning hella Golden Gloves. But when pitchers talk about the greatest or one of the greatest, there's always Glavine, there's always, like you said, earlier Pedro, Clemens, and you always mention Maddox along with them. And if I'm not mistaken, he's probably like a 9-time Cy Young winner or something crazy like that.
The thing for him, he won it 4 years in a row, but he did it before the 2000s. He's the only person ever to have done that.
Oh, he said that was before? Oh, man.
Yeah, well, he kept winning them. But the 4 in a row, I guess all 4, NL. He 4 in a row, NL Cy Youngs, 92 to 95. But he guy was winning Gold Gloves. He did things well past the 90s. He was an All-Star in 2000. Yeah, I think that's what I was looking
for, too. Yeah, so he probably had some Golden Gloves in the 2000s and shit. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, he definitely did.
All right, so, yeah, man, Greg Maddux, one of the good ones. All right, so moving along, because after this, it's about to go very quick. All right, so the number 2 seed, and again, 2 seeds are very close to 1s. You know what I'm saying? They just have that one thing that's kind of like, And even with this individual, only if he had a championship, but he wiggles, man. I love this guy. And I'm talking about Barry Bonds. He's the number 2 seed in the Ryan Leaf region. Multiple Golden Glove winner, MVP. Only thing he's missing from his resume is a championship. You know, whatever you think about Barry Bonds as far as cheating, because I want that to be out. I just want to talk about play on the field. Barry Bonds in the 2000s was solid. He was good. He got it done. And it just sucks that he couldn't end the way that he wanted to. But when you win MVPs and all of that, his career looked bright in the 2000s.
Man, and he did it in different places was the other thing here. We talk about guys going back and forth and doing it kind of everywhere they went. He produced everywhere. If we're gonna rule the scandal out of it, I mean, it wasn't just batting too. This guy won Gold Gloves. Just looking at the numbers, the 762 home runs, 73
Barry Bonds is the greatest
in a single season. Yeah, I mean, it's just astounding. I mean, and I remember living through it, but to like look back and really like see what like the final tally was.
You gotta appreciate,
hard to imagine a better batter.
And I know, like,
almost
we try not to go like all through the
RBIs.
Yeah, Barry Bonds was that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see how many. I mean, he just did.
He had 514 stolen bases. A lot of people, at least our age, don't remember the skinny Barry Bonds who was speeding around them bases.
Oh yeah, that was 90s. That was 90s Barry Bonds. He got about 3 of them. You know what I'm saying, during that time. But you know, he was getting them in 01 and 04 and 02. So, like I said, the only reason he's a 2 seed, and honestly, that did factor in the cheating scandal. But it's not. Look, me personally, I don't care if he did or if he didn't. He never got caught. He never tested positive. So if you never test positive, what all you can ask for? All you can say is test me. They test him. He never tested positive. So let's keep it moving. Barry Bonds, that's why you're a 2 seed on the list. So the final seed in the Ryan Leaf region is, Tracy McGrady, scoring champion multiple times. Injuries kind of, took Tracy McGrady out. But if you remember early 2000s, Tracy McGrady dunk contest. He was a 6-man behind Vince Carter. But Tracy McGrady as a player in that early 2000s was legendary, gave him all of the hype, that dragged him to Houston, playing with Yao Ming. And, unfortunately, he never got out of the first round, ever, until he was a bench warmer on, San Antonio. Again, that was later, but that kind of hurt him. But Tracy McGrady as a player was still a good player.
T-Max, he's right in that group of dudes who just unfortunately never had that team that could get him to the title hunt. But that guy's a freaking shooter, dude. Tracy McGrady he might be one of the more overlooked guys in his generation of studs. Like, if you ask his peers, they're going to speak much more highly of him than I think average Joe on the streets will.
Of course. And, like I said, the 215s, I mean, hey, we say Norfolk State beat Missouri, 15 beat the 2. It's happened. I think the Hampton ladies beat the Duke ladies as a 15 to beat a 2. So 15s and 2s can happen. And
2-time scoring champ.
T-Mac, T-Mac, like I said, T-Mac's one of the guys, like you said, and in certain circles, they speak about him more than others. And that should be represented. That should, no matter what. All right, so moving along, because this thing's about to go real fast. So now in the Freddie Adu region, unveiled that the number 1 seed was Tiger Woods. 16th seed is Usain Bolt. Now, the only reason he's ranked as a 16th seed is because there was only one Olympics in this decade that, we saw of him basically obliterate everybody.
That's a good point, dude. That's a good point.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You kind of got to get penalized for, not being available or not performing. Like, you can't train 6 years out the decade only for 1 year. And then you train the other 2 to finish out the decade. You're only playing one time. But the time that you're playing, I know you play. I mean, I used to do track, so I know there's other tournaments and stuff like that. But all of that is to gear up for the Olympics. I mean, there's track federations and all of that. Get a little bit of a check. It's nothing too crazy. But all of that stuff is pretty much to gear up for the Olympics. If you don't make the Olympics as a track and field athlete, that pretty much like demoralizes you, and you got to get up your ass before 4 years is up, or you're not gonna make that one either if you're not too old already. So. Well, other than that, though, Usain Bolt's great, man. Record leader, hella gold medals, and just had to mention the guy. Maybe he probably could be seated higher, but when people are playing and competing on more of a consistent basis, you're just doing more.
The one thing though, if you're gonna get real technical about best athlete, maybe he's the best in the whole bracket. I don't know. At least from a speed standpoint. But now, when we get a little more to the point, the numbers aren't necessarily there for the decade. I will give, But if you're gonna get super technical and try and backdoor the thing, who is in the best shape, he might have a case. Being the fastest man in the world.
That's why
that's what I love about these things too. It's like the MVP conversation. There's so many different ways that you could have a different set of metrics than I do.
Oh, yeah. I just want to, reward the people that, that's always like actually, because like I said, they do other stuff, but nobody really remembers, and you have to really look that up. Like, what did he do when the 2004 Jamaican U.S.
Invitation, like the World Track Championships.
Yeah, I mean that's like a lot. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, either way, he always gets busy. And the best athlete, he wanted to play wide receiver. He wanted to try to get some NFL action
pose,
going.
Man. He had his own pose. Him and Tebow, the 2 dudes on this list, had their own pose.
But I'll tell you this though, the 2010, he's like Candace Parker. You know what I'm saying? The 2010 bracket, because he's just getting here in the 2000s. But in the 2010s, when he's already there and there's more expectations and there's more people at his throat, Usain Bolt will be back next year, and he'll be higher, and he'll definitely get busy for sure. All right, so the 8th seed in the Freddie Adu region is good old Ichiro, and I can't remember how to pronounce his other first or last name. I know it's like Suzuki Ichiro or whatever, but Ichiro. I say that because in Japan, he leads in hits. I think he leads in hits overall. They try to discount his Japanese hits with the MLB, but if you combine it all together, he leads. So most of that came from this decade here in the 2000s with the Mariners. MVP, believe multiple times. Golden Glove winner, all of that. And not gonna get too much in my baseball bag with this one, but Ichiro has numbers, and he's up there. You know what I'm saying? Culturally and worldwide.
Yeah, his significance. He's like the Yao Ming of baseball, so to speak. He came from a country over there in Japan, not China, where it was huge and it just became even bigger. Him being a star at the MLB level, and there's a lot of guys who've come over as a result of watching Ichiro do it. So his impact on baseball is notable.
Damn, that was super offensive. I'm so sorry. I'm just ignorant to that. Like, I'm sorry. I should have probably just said Asian, but I'm horrible at that. I can admit it. But no, I really joke about that shit like all the time. Like, I just be like, fuck it. I try to make humor out of it, not to be like super serious.
Good, man.
MVP, Rookie of the Year, 10 Golden Gloves. So every year in the decade, he's done defense. He's put in work. 10-time All-Star. So now again, I don't know how much of that voting is influenced by the population in Japan, but he still put in work and he still put in numbers regardless. So yeah, Ichiro being the 8th seed. Now, I want to get in my bag about the 9th seed because a lot of people looked at this and tried to give me shit. So I'm going to take my time on this one so I can just breeze through the other ones. So the 9th seed in the Freddie Adu region is LeBron James. Okay, good. I thought I was going to get like a sounding reaction from you.
I'm trying to think when his first year in the league was. See, you prepared me for these.
03?
Where it's like someone you might think would be better. Oh, well, damn. Well, you know what? It's because kind of like we bring it with these other guys, the team just wasn't there. And so the postseason success couldn't be there. So as much as he might have had some of those years where he was the best player in the league, yeah, absolutely. The production didn't come for years later. So I think that's fair. I mean, who else we've got? We've got some other people at 9 seeds who are Tamika Catchings had probably more success in the 2000s. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair considering the guys we've got at 8-9.
Yeah, because LeBron would be the best 9th seed. So that's why he's in this bracket with Tiger. So in that classification, LeBron was, the best, of the 9 seeds. And you can look at it and just, fact check if you think so. If LeBron James is the best of the 9th seeds, if you want to back around and look at that. But LeBron didn't get to the playoffs until, I believe, 2 or 3 years later into his career. So, again, that goes back into the bad teams. He did get to the finals in 06, when he got, not 06, but like 05, I think, or something like that, where he got swept. But he didn't really get going until 2010 when he went to Miami. But after, he became an all-star, he was LeBron James. He played a lot of battles, but, they didn't end well. The Boston Celtics, gave him a little bit of work, towards the end, which made him go to Miami. It was a lot of the San Antonio Spurs. So it was a lot of good teams that he had to go through. He wasn't LeBron James. And that's the point that I want to get to everybody as to why did I seeded him at 9 is because he's not LeBron James as you see him today. He's not even LeBron James as you saw him in the 2010s. This is a young LeBron James that we're talking about in the 2000s, which, again, if you was there, and you would know that a 9 seed is a very high seed in this 2000s bracket when you're talking about MVPs. Now, I believe LeBron did win a MVP during this time, but, a lot of people did a lot of winning.
Something I thought about today. What if because Kobe came in and he had Shaq right away. I wonder what LeBron would have been like if he had a Shaq, some equivalent on his team when he came in, like a Duncan maybe, someone who 3 years ahead of him, 4 years ahead of him, who was like entering their prime for him to have that support with, because he had no help, he had no good help that first part of his career. It's a stretch. At least, I'm not trying to say these guys were trash, like they're in the NBA. These are good players he was with, but they weren't, like Verjao, stuff like that. These guys aren't the same level as a Shaq that you have as your second. I just wish we could have had something for LeBron those early years to see what we could have gotten.
Yeah, I mean, they tried, you know what I'm saying, with other individuals like Larry Hughes and all of that. They tried to give him some people, but it just wasn't hitting, during that time. Not to the level that you wanted it to, but again, the 2010 best athlete, you already know. I mean, that's the favorite in that particular bracket. But LeBron James at 9, he might do a little bit of damage, and it's all in your opinion. That's what makes this bracket great. So moving on to make this joint real quick, because again, this is about to go like real fast. The number 5 seed in the Freddie Adu region is LeBron's homeboy, his best buddy, Dwayne Wade. Finals MVP in '06. He was always good. You know what I'm saying? Multiple time All-Star, led the team to the playoffs, played, exceptionally, well throughout. But, the reason why he's higher seeded than LeBron is because, he won a championship in this decade and won a Finals MVP. Even though, like I said, LeBron won an MVP, but, when you win a chip, that means a little bit more.
Yeah, it's that metric we've been using. That postseason success puts you at the top.
Gotta have it. All right, so the 12th seed in this is one of the last 4 in matchups, and I had to add. This is one of those ones where I couldn't make a decision, so it's a matchup. So the 12th seed in the last 4 in that's gonna go up and have that good old matchup with Wade. Melo versus Gilbert Arenas. The winner of that will take on Wade. Now, Melo's an Olympic gold medalist, so that gives him the love to be up there. Multiple-time All-Star. We all know Melo can hoop. We all know what it is with Melo. Gilbert Arenas pretty much the same way. Took the Washington Wizards, to the playoffs multiple-time All-Star. The Hibachi is, Gilbert Arenas' nickname that he used to go by. Or, yeah, either he went by or people gave it to him, but I know it is what it is. So what you think about that play-in, Melo and Arenas?
I think that's pretty good. I don't know enough about Gilbert Arenas, like his stats off the top of my head from the 2000s, but I know Melo was balling out up there, like, T-Mac level scoring. So I love him because he reps Florida, where I'm from. But yeah, no, 3-time All-Star, damn.
Yeah, see, the reason why I don't earlier LeBron, I like this LeBron. I like old LeBron because it's kind of like, yeah, this is the end of the line. I already know how it is. Might as well go out gracefully. But young LeBron, hell no, because Cavaliers and Wizards used to always have that series. And one time, LeBron James walked up to Gilbert Arenas and was like, if you miss this free throws, it's over. Gilbert Arenas fucked around and missed the free throws and lost the game. I hate LeBron James. Then. I don't mind him now. But then, fuck him. Hate LeBron James. So that's the play-in matchup, Melo and Arenas. All right, the number 4 seed, multiple-time NL MVP, Albert Pujols. It's baseball. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much in my bag on Pujols, but we all know Pujols.
Oh, yeah. Guy ran baseball for that decade, at least from a batting perspective.
Reason he got all that money to go to the Angels. 13th seed in this region, the Freddie Adu region, champion, MVP, Marshall Faulk. Reason he's a Hall of Famer is because of this time period. Greatest show on turf.
Yeah, he and Kurt Warner. Falk also, he had that whole wasn't he a punt returner as well? I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure there's some incredible stat with him as far as like his abilities as a specialist. He was one of those like dual threat, like it started that trend a little bit. Like you saw what they were doing in St. Louis, and people were like, "Oh man, we got to start using running backs this way if we want to be able to put up these points." Yeah, he was one of the first NFL players like I really knew about too. That I just like, you heard about and you're like, wow, that guy's like the best football player. Right at that turn of the century, it was like that first 2 years are really what puts him in like 2000, 2001. That's what puts him in this bracket.
And let's not forget that he was on the cover of Madden.
Oh yeah. What was that, Madden 01, 2000? Jeez, I can't remember.
Either that or 02. I can't remember. But yeah. So when you make the cover of Madden, obviously means you're one of the best in the game. So moving on to get this done real quickly, the 6th seed in the Freddie Adu bracket, Kevin Garnett, monster in the beginning of the decade with the Minnesota Timberwolves that led him to Boston to win the championship in 2008 with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. And Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, once or twice. Obviously, multiple-time All-Star. Again, not too much to say about KG, man. In 2000, especially if you remember those Minnesota Timberwolves days, even though the team was trash, he only got to one conference final. I think it was him and Marbury. But other than that, KG was a monster.
He was a defensive force. It's him and Ben Wallace as some of the best defensive players inside of the 2000s.
And speaking of the 2000s, the 11th seed Freddie Adu region, Dwight Howard. Now, went to the NBA Finals against Kobe in 09.
It's such a random finals.
Yeah, because everybody wanted LeBron, but they couldn't close out Orlando. So we got Dwight in the finals, and wasn't that great, but he got there. But that's not his calling card. His calling card is defense. He's a multiple-time defensive player of the year, all-star as well. And dunk contest champion multiple times. I know just something to include, it's impactful. And an 11th seed, maybe some sort of upset potential, but Dwight Howard was the leader of his teams throughout that decade.
Yeah, he was like the only player on that team. We have a lot of these guys who were kind of like the lone shining star. Like if you had found a couple of these to like pair together, oh my goodness, these guys would be insane in the seeding in this bracket. But yeah, just no support. And then when he finally hit a team where there was support, it just fell apart. When he goes to the Lakers, it's just like, and that's the darndest thing for Dwight Howard's career is kind of like the most talented teams he's been on have gone the worst. But now he gets a great team and the season gets canceled. He gets a great team and it's going well and the season gets canceled. The NBA just doesn't want Dwight Howard to have a ring.
Man, see, because you got Bron there because he don't have that much time. They want him to get one. They want him to get one for LA. I feel that this. Hold on, I just want to mention one thing real quick, just to get off the bracket for one thing. You know how everybody been talking about the coronavirus and they named the players' names. Have you noticed that with the Lakers they never said the name of the two players?
That's true.
Just wanted to get out there. If anybody realized that we know the name of every player who has coronavirus in the NBA except the two players on the Lakers. Just think about that. All right, so moving on. The number 3 seed in the Freddie Adu region, 2001 NBA MVP, finals appearance, Allen Iverson, the answer, Bubba Chuck. This is for the culture. You know what I'm saying? He's a Hall of Famer because of this time in the 2000s. Led the league in scoring. Didn't have much of nothing around him, but he worked with what he had, and he gave it his all. And like I said, he's a Hall of Famer for this time period. That meme, the stepping over Tyronn Lue, yeah, that was him. So, again, only reason he's not like a 2 seed is just championships. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got the MVP. But he didn't get a championship, or not even opportunities to compete for a championship. He only had that one shot.
Yeah, and he was an all-star literally every year of the decade, scoring champ 3 of those years in the decade. So another one of those. What more can you ask?
Right. When your teams, when they keep giving you a 5-year too late Mutombo, a 4-year too late Chris Webber, you draft some other guys that, you know what I'm saying, that didn't. I mean, Andre Iguodala was good, but y'all was getting sick of AI by then. So, yeah. It's all good, though. But, Allen Iverson. 14th seed in the Freddie Adu region, Warren Sapp. Won a championship with Tampa Bay in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Defensive Player of the Year. Again, Hall of Famer for the time period of this time. Yeah, I mean, don't have too much on Warren Sapp, but like I said, he was one of those players, you know what I'm saying, as an Eagles fan, we knew that, you know what I'm saying, you had to get away from Warren Sapp. Like, where's Warren Sapp? Make sure he don't, you know what I'm saying, break the line, make sure that we can protect McNabb and all of that. So we know what Warren Sapp can do, seen it firsthand, and he's good.
Yeah, in an era of we talked about big hitters, he managed to crack the list as a defensive lineman, so that tells you a lot about the production right there.
Yeah. So the 7th seed in the Freddie Adu region, we're going to get into our bag on ladies, women's basketball. The 7th seed is Lisa Leslie, champion in 2002 and 2003, MVP. She was the female Shaq, not of physical, well, for female basketball, physical dominance, not as brute force, obviously, but she's tall, she dunked, and, she was a problem, you know what I'm saying, in women's basketball during that decade. Olympic gold medalist. If, like I said, with Taurasi and Catchings, if there was a basketball game playing, she was there and she was winning.
Yeah, she was like the first, I think, huge name for me out of the WNBA, where I just kind of knew, that's Lisa Leslie. I don't know. Just she for me was the first huge star to come out of that league.
Yeah. So, and she was definitely a face. After Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops kind of went down the wayside a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They was already older players when they got in. You know what I'm saying? When they was getting the WNBA started, but once that freshness came into the league, and all of that, Lisa Leslie was definitely the forefront of all of that. And the 10th seed in the Freddie Adu region is Paul Pierce, 2008 Finals MVP. I've been watching a lot of other podcasts, just to get inspired, what I'm saying, just to hear people talk, so I can't, talk to myself. So I like to hear other people talk to see what, the hell is going on. And I've been watching a lot of the Knuckleheads podcast, Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, players from the Clippers from back in the day, they homies. And fucking All the Smoke, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. And Paul Pierce was on both of those. I know what my eyes saw, but just hearing, him talk about the things that he went through and just, saying his game and all of that. Paul Pierce was good. Paul Pierce was legit in the 2000s. I know it was a lot of losing, early in the career with, Rick Pitino and, Antoine Walker was good, but they just wasn't, getting it there. They didn't get there until, Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, got to the squad in '08. But before then, Paul Pierce was a hooper. He got buckets. He was the guy on NBA Live or NBA 2K, whichever you played. If you played with Boston, you was running with Paul Pierce.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about guys like AI winning an All-Star literally every year of the decade. He did it pretty darn close. It was just like 2007 and 2001 were the only down years for him inside of the 2000s. You earned the nickname The Truth for a reason. So absolutely throw him in.
Exactly. So the number 2 seed in the Freddie Adu region, and again, 2 seeds could be 1s, but there's something that's slightly not there. And the number 2 seed in this region is Tom Brady. Now, a lot of people forget that for 10 years, Tom Brady did not sniff a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl in 2004, and he didn't win his next one until 2014. Please let's not forget those 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Because those 10 years exist. So in the 2000s, he was good. The 3 championships, I think it was like 01, 02, and 04, something like that. Yeah, definitely 04. Screw them. And But then after that, it was just, average. He won, MVPs, which, again, that keeps him, up with the 2 line. But we're not talking about, Brady being the 2 because, he's 6-time, Super Bowl champion and all of that. No, he won 3 Super Bowls where he wasn't the best player. Adam Vinatieri won most of those Super Bowls, if not all of them, but damn near all of them.
Yeah, him and the defense.
But, but Brady did win, 2 MVPs during that stretch where they wasn't winning championships. So, again, that's like that asshole niche right there that takes him from a 1 seed to a 2 seed. But a 2 seed in this particular bracket, Brady can go far.
Yeah, and he had, the 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, 3 times in the decade, most passing touchdowns. Yeah, it'll be interesting, to see how far he makes it. Because that's the one thing that he has the championships, and the later ones, you can maybe say, okay, he beat Atlanta. I don't know if you really say those first 3 were because of Tom Brady winning that Super Bowl, but he did have some plays. I mean, he wasn't just a bum, so you still give him credit. I don't want to make this seem like the team won for Tom, but yeah, there is that taste of, like, maybe we don't give him all the credit for these things.
I mean, I'm just saying because from 2005 to 2000 at least if we're talking about in the decade, from 2005 until 2009, Tom Brady was nowhere near a Super Bowl.
He kind of fell off for those years, and he needed Randy Moss to kind of get him jump back started. That's a fair point.
Yeah, but at least, like I said, he got those MVPs. Brady could probably be considered as, overly seeded because of his GOAT status, but, this kind of started the GOAT status. So, wait to see what Tom Brady be in the 2010 bracket. All right, so in the Freddie Adu bracket, the 15th seed, because this thing's about to go super fast now, Mia Hamm, women's soccer tennis champion. Again, she kind of got the same discredit as Usain Bolt because you only see them, every 4 years. But I believe she was around for 2 of them. I think she was around for the 2004 and the 2008 Olympics, but I know the 2008 Olympics for sure. And when you thought, women's soccer, she was the Alex Morgan,
Yeah.
She was the Alex Morgan then for this team, Mia Hamm. And again, obviously, not going to be a favorite against a lot of the competition, but, Mia Hamm's name deserved to be spoke of because she put in a lot of work and she won.
She did more for soccer than Freddie Adu did, flat out.
That's why it's the Freddie Adu region.
Oh, it makes sense now. I dig it. Yeah, I mean, she got more people wanting to play soccer than he did. Exactly. Ask the women's soccer team who just won, Gold Cup, World Cup, Olympic gold medal, why they wanted to play soccer. Mia Hamm.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about women's soccer is that they have leagues and stuff too, but obviously it's not like the NFL. It's not like the NBA. There's no TV contracts. There's no super duper, big sponsors to broadcast the games and stuff. But, they play and get busy, but we only know them for, the Olympics and the World Cups and all of that. And every time we see Mia Hamm, she's going ham. She's winning.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the Freddie Adu bracket. So now, Thomas, this thing is going to go super quick because now we're just going to pick the winners. We already broke down the analysis. We already know about the people. Let's go ahead and get this thing moving. So in the Smush Parker region, Kobe Bryant takes on the last 4 winner, Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush. First, who's moving between Tim Tebow and Reggie Bush?
It'd be Tebow for me. I just think he had a better career.
All right. So Tim Tebow moves on out of the last 4 in. Probably more than that now since I made another one of those little games. All right, so Kobe Bryant, 5 in this decade, 3-time champion, 1-time MVP versus Tim Tebow, 2-time college champion, Heisman Trophy winner. Who wins? Who advances to the round of 32?
Yeah, I'm taking Kobe.
Of course. We're not going to do no Virginia shit today. I hope not. I hate them. All right, so the eighth seed, Venus Williams versus Tamika Catchings, the 8-9 matchup. Who's moving on?
I'm gonna take Tamika.
The nine. Again, 8-9's never really an upset. Tamika Catchings moves on. You know what? Just because I do want women to be a part of it and listen, just a small analysis. You know what I'm saying? Why Tamika over Venus?
You know, it was that how we talked about. She just kind of won at every level. She didn't get the college championship, but I think she was more dominant in comparison. You know, Venus has Serena sitting there. Tamika was like all WNBA for 10 years straight. I don't know if Serena was, you know, the cream of the crop in tennis for the entire decade.
No, that's facts. That's facts. So moving on, the 5-12 matchup, Floyd Mayweather versus Eli Manning, the undefeated champ versus the one-time Super Bowl champion and MVP. Who moves forward?
I'm taking Floyd just because it's more of the he did it himself, whereas those Super Bowls with Eli, you know, 21 points. It was really the defense keeping Tom Brady in check there. I'll take the guy who did it on his own.
Got you. All right, and the 4-13 matchup, Diana Taurasi versus Sean Alexander. Who moves to the round of 32?
It's got to be Diana for me, just because she did more. You know, Sean Alexander had that one great year. She had the whole great decade.
All right, now this is a particular interesting one, the 6-11 matchup in the Smush Parker region. Jimmy Johnson, as you said, 7-time NASCAR champion, well, Cup champion, I forget exactly what it's called, versus Ray Allen, NBA champion, one-time NBA champion. Who moves forward?
I got Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he was. You know, it's him, Petty, and Earnhardt. He matched them for the 2000s. That's what he was. So
more dominant in the sport at the time. Because Ray Allen was good, but he wasn't dominant in comparison to Jimmy Johnson. In the 3-14 matchup, Battle of the Foreigners. I don't know if that sounded offensive, but I didn't mean for it to. Number 3 seed Dirk Nowitzki versus number 14 seed Manu Ginobili. Who moves forward?
I'm taking, man, this is tough. I think I'm going to take Dirk. I think as an individual, he was better. Manu was on some better teams and played his role better, but Dirk, more of an impact in the NBA, I think.
We almost, that 14-3 almost happened. The betters might be salty. They almost had one.
I got some upsets coming in some other regions for sure.
Facts.
I can already tell.
All right, so in the 7-10 matchup in the Smush Parker region, Steve Nash, the 7th seed, versus 10th seed Pau Gasol. Who moves on?
I'm still taking Nash because he was the best player on his team and he was the best player in the league for a year, and Pau just never hit that level.
All right, so the 2-15 matchup, this is pretty hilarious, but we'd like to have some fun. Peyton Manning versus Michael Jordan. Keep in mind the time frame we're talking, the 2000s.
Yeah, it's got to be Peyton. It's still got to be Peyton because of how dominant he was, winning 4 MVPs. I mean, if we were talking 90s Jordan, give him the nod, but not in the 2000s.
All right. So that completes the Smush Parker region. Let's move on to, I'll tell everybody who moved on. So Kobe's going to take on Tamika Catchings. Floyd's taking on Diana Taurasi. Jimmy Johnson takes on Dirk, and Nash takes on Peyton in the round of 32 in the Smush Parker region. Let's go ahead and move on to the Jamarcus Russell region, where we start off with a matchup we kind of don't really want to have right now, but give it time. Serena versus Candace Parker. Who moves on?
I'm taking Serena. Just I put her out there as the best female athlete of the decade, so I got to take her over Candace Parker.
Don't worry, Candace. I'll do a bracket for 2010. You'll be in a better position. Sorry. All right, so hopefully I can get her to listen, but if not, I was just talking to myself. All right, so the 8-9 matchup in the Jamarcus Russell region, Brian Urlacher versus Vince Carter. Who moves on?
I actually had Vince Carter. I don't know. I'm just a big Vince Carter fan. I love him in the dunk competition, and yeah, I'm pushing him through.
Damn right. All right. And again,
Urlacher had. Did the Bears catch a Super Bowl? No, the Bears didn't win a Super Bowl. They just went to one. So yeah, I don't need to give him. Yeah, Vince Carter.
Yeah. I mean, you could give him a little bit of points for going, but again, Vince Carter, half man, half amazing, did more. I guess you could pretty much say.
Yeah, I'm just a bigger fan of Vince too.
Oh yeah, man, the Shocks used to be the shit. All right, so I hate this one. I'm kind of fearful for this one. The 5-12 matchup in the Jamarcus Russell region. Ray Lewis is the 5th seed versus 12th seed Michael Vick.
I actually had Vick in this one. He was the video game man. People still. I mean, both of these guys are huge, but
now let me just add a caveat. Ray Lewis was on the cover of Madden 2.
Yeah, but I think when I'm talking Madden and Vic, it's because of like we called him the video, like he was a cheat code. We don't say Ray Lewis is out there doing things that can only be done in Madden, but we were saying that about Vic.
That's a good caveat right there. Vic was the experience for real. Michael Vick was definitely the experience.
He was Madden brought to life.
Fact. So nice little upset right there. The 12 seed moves on. That's kind of like not a VCU beating like a good ACC team or some shit like that, like a VCU beating a Louisville. Maybe not this year's Louisville, but kind of like a school type deal. Yeah. So I like that. That's what makes this bracket so great. The so-called little guy upset people can move forward and get it popping. All right, so maybe this might happen again. The 4th seed, Michael Phelps versus I misread that totally. Darrell Reeves. Who moves forward?
Yeah, it's Phelps. Those gold medals, man.
Gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? USA. All right, in the 6-11 matchup in the Jamarcus Russell region, LaDainian Tomlinson, the 11th seed, versus 6th seed Randy Johnson, the big unit. Who moves forward?
I had Randy Johnson. All those. He had the World Series MVP, some Cy Youngs. It was just too much for me. Versus Tomlinson had some good years, but Randy Johnson was the guy for so long. And he got it done in the postseason.
The big unit. You know what I'm saying? When you have the name like the big unit, you can do like so much. I wish I would have been his Brandon the manager. I would have had him in porn. The big unit. That would have been great. Pornhub, holla at me.
Full sponsorship.
All right, so yeah, man. The quarantine's been too long. All right, so the next seed coming up, the next matchup, the 3 and the 14th seed, Roger Federer versus Alex Ovechkin. Who moves forward?
I had Federer. Ovechkin, we're talking about just that time period. He didn't have the postseason success there. He was just kind of goal scoring. He was just kind of cutting his teeth as a goal scorer in the NHL. Whereas, Federer just is dominant, winning left and right.
Yeah, and like I said, if Alex Ovechkin is kind of like Candace Parker, if we do the 2010 bracket, higher seed, more opportunity, definitely will move to a later round. So Federer moves on. In the 7-10 matchup in the Jamarcus Russell region, Pedro Martinez, 7th seed, takes on 10th seed Derek Jeter. Who moves forward?
I had Pedro. I just don't think Derek Jeter did enough during that. He was on good teams and before the 2000s and after the 2000s, there was some World Series, but during the 2000s, he didn't do enough for me.
No doubt. It's pretty much the same. Like I said, championship at the back end, he was solid, but not eye-popping. Wouldn't be considered the best, but best enough to at least be included on the list. All right, and finally in the Jamarcus Russell region, 2nd seed Tim Duncan takes on 15th seed CC Sabathia. I kind of know how this is gonna go, but we gotta watch. We gotta watch the game anyway because it's on TV, so we gotta watch it. But we know what's gonna happen. We know somebody's about to get smacked. But who's move forward?
I'm taking Duncan.
Yeah, I knew it. It was so bad they switched the game off to another game that's better, that's more competitive. Sorry, CC. I didn't mean to do that to you. But Duncan, over that whole decade, we already know what it is. All right, so in the Jamarcus Russell region, Serena takes on Vince Carter. That's going to be a nice one. Michael Vick moves on to take on Phelps, the Battle of the Mikes. Randy Johnson takes on Federer, and Pedro takes on Tim Duncan, moving on to the round of 32 in the Jamarcus Russell region. Now, in the Ryan Leaf region, let's get busy. Number one, Shaq takes on Roy Halladay. This might be another one of those things where we're watching the TV and we know that Duke is about to smack this team out of this small little Iona or University of North Carolina, Wilmington little school. Unless you're Virginia, I hate you. Does a number one get upsetted by a 16?
Nah, not in this one.
Of course not. It was a good game to watch, though. All right, Clemens versus Kurt Warner. Who moves on? 8 seed versus 9.
I got Clemens because it's just too impressive. You win a MVP while losing the series. That's some next level play you had.
And you never think that could really happen. They wanted LeBron to,
They always mention like maybe this, but it's just they just this guy had a good series, but they never actually do it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to because like you didn't do enough. But shout out Roger Clemens, he's moving on. Randy Moss, 5th seed versus Torrey Hunter, 12th seed in the Jamarcus Russell region. Who moves on?
I had Moss.
The multiple Golden Gloves wasn't enough.
Yeah, just man, Moss was. I mean, he and T.O. were the guys for that decade as pass catchers, and like I said, like he just couldn't guard him. You couldn't guard him.
All right, so that might be telling towards this next matchup coming up. The 4th seed T.O. takes on the 13th seed Jason Kidd. I told the committee I didn't like how that looked, coming into the second round, but we'll watch the game anyway. Who moves forward? T.O. Jason Kidd.
Yeah, it's T.O., man. That production. Everywhere you went.
None wrong with it. That's how it is. All right, battle of big men, but not really if you think about the size. 7-3 Yao Ming versus 11th seed 6'9 Ben Wallace.
Yeah, it was Ming for me.
Forward?
It was Ming, just because it's too comparable them being in the same league and whatnot. Wallace had the championships. He had his defense was there. I just think Yao would if you put him head to head, Yao would win that.
See, so championships don't matter. It matters to get you on, but it doesn't necessarily matter to move
it gets you on
forward.
the pole. That's a good point.
It gets you a seat at the table. Doesn't mean you're going to eat. All right, 3 seed in the Ryan Leaf region. I hope I didn't say Jamarcus Russell region the last time, but oh well. The Ryan Leaf region. 3 seed Alex Rodriguez takes on the winner of the last 4 in, which actually ended up being more because I couldn't, take anybody off. That might be actually my bit. You know how Trey Wingo be having like the top 5, but he has like 8? I might have like hella last 4 ins.
Just a bunch of last 4. Well, it could be the first 4, and now you get 4 games. They have the last 4 in, but then they have the first 4 games, so it's like 8 teams you get.
I think that's what I was trying to copy, but I ended up using the wrong shit. But yeah, more teams next time.
That works, man.
All right. So Steve McNair versus Sidney Crosby to take on Alex Rodriguez. Let's break down Sidney versus Steve McNair. Who moves forward between those two?
I went with Sid, man. Those Stanley Cups. He was better than Ovechkin for the decade.
Oh yeah, definitely. So taking on A-Rod, who wins?
Believe it or not, I actually had Crosby. I had Crosby through because he was winning those cups. the first season he was in the league. I mean, he picked up right where they went off. He got a captain in 2008. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, A-Rod had a great career too, but you got to and that's just, it wasn't just the NHL for Crosby. He joined in 2005, but he was killing it in the leagues he was playing at before then. So
that's crazy. It's like North Carolina just lost to ODU in the first round.
Youngest captain in the NHL history to win the cup. It just kept getting better. 2007 he gets them there. 2008 he gets them there. 2009 they win it. 2009, 2010 he like the leading goal scorer. It was right when his career started to take off. But really, I mean, the whole time he's been in the NHL, he's been killer.
I know a lot of people's brackets is probably busted.
Yeah, we're busting.
Damn, they took A-Rod off. They took A-Rod off the table. Damn. All right, well, so moving on. 7th seed taking on the 10th. 7th seed Troy Polamalu. 10th seed Greg Maddux in the Ryan Leaf region. Who moves forward?
I had Maddox. I had Maddox over Polamalu just because there was more top end success. I think like he was singled out as like the best player at his position for some of those early years.
So we got baseball moving forward, guys. Stay with us. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to take all the baseball people off the table yet. We have manners. All right, so speaking of baseball people, 2nd seed in the Ryan Leaf region, Barry Bonds takes on 15th seed Tracy McGrady. Do we see a Norfolk State, Missouri upset?
Nah, Barry Bonds moving through.
Got him. Bonds, you're not going to lose in this one yet, but yeah. You got our vote.
At least not the team back.
All right. Right. He said at least not the team back. Uh-oh. All right, so moving on to the Freddie Adu region, Tiger Woods taking on Usain Bolt. Do we see Virginia, I don't know what the fuck y'all are, but y'all beat
UMBC. No, it's still Tiger. Usain, I mean, like I said, if we were going off of like, who's a better athlete, I mean, Usain definitely beats Tiger in a race. I don't know what else, but yeah. Tiger's
you don't think Tiger's stronger than him?
I don't know.
You think Tiger's stronger than him?
I don't know. Tiger could be stronger than him. I don't know. Usain's not like benching crazy numbers, but
Tiger is though.
But
Tiger is though.
I wonder,
That's why you think Tiger's messed up, because he's been trying to do that Navy SEAL shit and fucked up his back trying to be commando. You know what I'm saying?
But I wouldn't discredit Usain Bolt's strength. Those guys still strength train a little bit.
Oh yeah. But Tiger's Tiger's Tiger. You know what I'm saying? So he has to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Ichiro LeBron, the 8-9 matchup. Who moves forward?
I had Braun. As great as Ichiro was, Braun is still Braun.
Okay. We're going to move on. LeBron ain't out yet. We're going to get to it. Wade versus, as the 5th seed in the Freddie Adu region, versus the last 4 winner, which really should be the first 4, but we'll add that in later. We'll do that for the next one. Melo versus Gilbert Arenas. First, who's moving forward between Melo and Arenas?
I'm taking Melo. Just more success.
You said you didn't know.
Yeah.
And I know you. And you said you didn't know too much about Arenas, so it's kind of like that one team where it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't name what his great claim to fame is besides the gun thing.
Yeah, and it's just like, in teams, in games, man, I don't know not one person on that team. Like, none at all. No, I took with the team that I know. So, the bracket is just like real life, guys. It really works itself out. It's really fun and entertaining. All right, so Wade takes on Melo, both from the same draft class. They homeboys. Both of them are multiple Olympic gold medalists, but the only difference is a finals MVP and a chip. Who moves forward? And that probably was a big difference, but yeah.
I got Wade. Out of the two of them, you go to the championship, you win one, and that's what's been haunting Melo his whole time. And Wade's arguably the best, the shooting guard, Well, you know,
of that decade.
yeah, that's what I'm, and it depends how you're going to classify certain players. I mean, Kobe could be a 1 or a 2, so I don't want to, but I mean, it's Wade's right up there. He's got to be 1 or
Yeah.
2 this decade for shooting guards.
All day. So moving on in the Freddie Adu region, 4th seed Albert Pujols takes on 13th seed Marshall Faulk. Multiple MVP in one MVP in another, a championship. There's championships all around, but damn it, who moves forward?
I got Pujols. I mean, he was the new Bonds. Where Bonds left off, he picked up, and all you could hear about was Pujols when he was with St. Louis.
And boy, was they winning chips. And I lost money.
Every other year,
too.
it was them or San Fran, dude.
The 6th seed in the Freddie Adu region, Kevin Garnett takes on 11th seed Dwight Howard. Defensive matchup, but who moves forward?
Give me KG. He's just a better version.
Yeah, we don't got to elaborate too much on that. We can leave the elaborations for the Sweet 16. AI versus Warren Sapp in the 13-14 matchup. AI's 13, Warren Sapp's 14. Who moves forward?
Give me AI, man. Give me the answer.
We don't got to say too much about that. Number 7th seed Lisa Leslie versus 10th seed Paul Pierce. Both of them are accomplished, hoopers, in their respective. Well, they're both hoopers, so let's not separate the two. They're hoopers. One's won, championships, MVPs, and Lisa Leslie. Who moves forward though?
I'm going Leslie. She's just better in the WNBA than Melo has been. I'm sorry, not Melo. Pierce has been inside of the NBA. I mean, they both have championships. I'm going to go with the one who's been more consistent at that level.
No doubt. All right, so and finally in the Freddie Adu region, Tom Brady versus Mia Hamm. Who moves forward?
It's Brady, man. Just, he's the GOAT. Or at least he's getting called the GOAT, so you got to move him forward.
Yeah, goat-like things is about to be done. All right, so in the Freddie Adu region, Tiger takes on LeBron. Ooh, that's going to be nice. Wade takes on Pujols. KG takes on AI, battle of the initials. And Lisa Leslie takes on Tom Brady in the round of 32. So let's go ahead and start the round of 32. Kobe versus Tamika Catchings. Who moves forward?
I got Kobe, man.
No, hey, we ain't got to say no more.
Nah, just with
RIP.
these 1 seeds, yeah. I mean, it's a hooper versus a hooper, and Kobe's the supreme hooper.
All day long. Floyd versus Diana Taurasi. Who moves forward?
I actually took Diana Taurasi. Just if this was 2010s, I would be taking Floyd. He'd be like a 2 seed. I just think
Okay.
Diana did more during the decade, all across all levels.
No, that's real. And, like I said, Floyd was beating, people, but, there wasn't, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Some of them was cool, but, the bag didn't happen until later. All right, so 6 seed Jimmy Johnson taking on 3rd seed Dirk Nowitzki in the round of 32. Who moves forward?
I had Jimmy Johnson. You win those 7 championships, that's just too impressive.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No matter if you want to say Jimmy Johnson isn't an athlete or not, I'm not here to debate that, but NASCAR is a sport. We don't have any sports going on during this coronavirus pandemic. So we're going to find a way to talk about anything that's competitive that you could have been gambling on if sports was going around. Mm-hmm. So for you people who miss NASCAR, you're welcome. Jimmy Johnson moves on. Next matchup, Nash versus Peyton, the 2-7. Who moves forward?
I have Peyton, man. You get the Super Bowl, and that gives you the nod there between the two.
Yeah, man. And like you said, man, like hella MVPs, like you just can't do nothing with that all day. All right, so let's just break this down real quick. In the Sweet 16 of the bracket of this 2000's best athlete, Kobe takes on Dana Taurasi. Jimmy Johnson takes on Peyton Manning out of the Smush Parker region, transitioning to the Jamarcus Russell region. Number 1 Serena takes on number 9 seed Vince Carter. Who moves forward?
Serena, man. Vince is great, but not to that level.
All right, the 12th seed, one of the surprising upsets in the first round. The Battle of the Mikes. Vic takes on Phelps. Who moves forward?
I'm taking Phelps, man. Too many gold medals.
Too many. Gold chain, like that Trinidad James song.
Yep.
Gold all in my neck. That's him all day. All right, so 6 seed Randy Johnson versus 3 seed Roger Federer. Who moves forward?
I had Fed, man. He kind of ran the men's half of tennis.
Yeah, you did, man. Like every time you saw him on a tennis court, you knew he was about to get busy. He was going to either win it or be damn near close on it. He was like a sure bet for sure. And the final matchup, the 2nd seed Tim Duncan takes on 7th seed Pedro Martinez. Who moves forward?
I had Duncan over Pedro.
All right. So escaping the round of 32, Serena's going to take on Phelps. Nice little 1-4 matchup. We saw that coming. 3 seed Federer takes on 2nd seed Tim Duncan. Not bad. That could happen. Real life. Let's move on to the Ryan Leaf region. Shaquille O'Neal, the 1 seed, takes on 8th seed Roger Clemens. Who's moving forward?
I had Shaquille O'Neal, man. A lot of these 1 seeds are just too good.
When's the last time a tournament was probably like that, where like the number 1 seeds was like that great, where there wasn't no like the. I'm trying to think.
There was a year you had all 4 1 seeds. Only 1 year you had 4 1 seeds. It was Kansas, Memphis, UNC. I think Michigan State. It was like Hansborough. That was the year Memphis and Kansas played for the title.
Oh, was it
Chalmers?
It wasn't the Mario Chalmers versus Derrick Rose, right?
I think so.
Oh man, yeah, that was a good finals right there. Mario Chalmers hit that shot to send it into overtime. Then they just got busy towards the end. Okay. How the hell do we? I don't know. Oh yeah, because talking about the number 1 seeds being so dominant in the bracket, smacking everybody so far. So I got you. Sorry, Clemens, you did your thing. All right, so the 5th seed, Randy Moss taking on the 4th seed, T.O. Now, we did not want to see this matchup, this early. We wanted to see this matchup a little bit later, but the seeds play out how they play out, and we don't test fate. So, take as much time as you need. T.O., Randy Moss, who's going to the Sweet 16?
I'm taking T.O., man. The production's just better. Neither of them has that Super Bowl there. I just T.O. did it for longer, and he never really had a dip.
No, that's facts, because unfortunately Randy Moss did say that he plays when he wants to. So when you put that on wax, even though Moss is, a first ballot Hall of Famer and T.O.'s not, but we all know that's because of politics. So never get that confused, guys. I don't want to hear people saying, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's because of politics, my people. Chill. T.O. moves on in our bracket. The 6th seed, Yao Ming, takes on Sidney Crosby, the 14th seed. Who's moved forward?
I had Sid, dude. He was too great in the 2000s.
Oh shit, we got a George Mason.
They going deep.
Oh man. Okay. Let me shift my money a little bit to George Mason. All right, and the final matchup in the Ryan Leaf region in the round of 32. 10th seed Greg Maddux versus 2nd seed Barry Bonds. Who moves forward?
I'm taking Barry Bonds, man. Even when it's same sport like this, it's just too easy to go with the better guy, better career.
Facts. All right, so in the next round, Shaq takes on T.O. Saw that coming. We did not see the 14th seed, doggone Sidney Crosby, taking on Barry Bonds. Oh man, that's legendary right there. These high seeds, man. These high seeds, man. They always find a way to sneak in there, but that's what makes this great. All right, so let's go ahead and knock out the Freddie Adu region real quick. Number 1 seed Tiger Woods is taking on ninth seed LeBron James. Not the GOAT LeBron James, but he's starting to get there, LeBron James. Who's moving forward?
Yeah, it's still Tiger, though. It's still Tiger for the 2000s.
All right. The 5th seed, Dwayne Wade versus the 4th seed, Albert Pujols. Who moves forward?
I had Pujols here. I just think he was Mr. Baseball for kind of the back end of the 2000s.
No, that's all the way legit. More winning, not like Wade wasn't winning, but Pujols had more winning, on a consistent basis. So you got to reward that. All right, the battle of the initials. 6th seed KG takes on 3rd seed AI. Who moves forward?
I had AI. Just a better basketball player, plain and simple.
I'm glad. My heart was racing. I was like, that damn KG. Like, that 6th seed is underseeded.
Nah, it's just, like I said, when it's apples to
bracket.
apples, it's just more apples.
No, I know. And I be trying to get into this shit like, all right, well, who would I want to win? Damn. Try to get that damn March Madness feeling back, man. Cats is junkies out here, man. We ain't got nothing. Ain't got no bar. Ain't got no channel. Ain't nothing on the TV. Damn, we Joneses for some sports, but let's keep it moving. Oh, they gonna be like, yo, what the hell was y'all doing back in 2020? Going through a fucking pandemic. Just because I hope this gets heard in like 5 years or 10 years. So I just wanted to say that shit. All right, the next matchup to end this out, 7th seed Lisa Leslie taking on 2nd seed Tom Brady. And just like LeBron, we're not talking about the GOAT yet, but we are talking about Tom Brady. Who moves forward?
Yeah, I had Brady still.
I can see that. MVPs is about equal. Brady got more championships. I can see that. Let me see. What I was about to say. All right. So, okay. This bracket is pretty chalky. I can kind of see that. Number 1 seed takes on 4th seed Albert Pujols, and the 3 seed Allen Iverson takes on Tom Brady, the 2nd seed. This is starting to get buggy. Let's see who's about to go to the Elite 8. Let's get this thing going. All right, so the 1 seed in the Smush Parker region, Kobe Bryant takes on 4th seed Diana Taurasi. Who moves forward?
I got Kobe still. I'd love to see this as a one-on-one, though. That'd be interesting as hell.
Oh, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Diana Taurasi looked up to Kobe, and Kobe gave her a lot of game and knowledge. So that'd be good for the basketball. Well, would have been good for the basketball culture. That would have been love. All right, so 6th seed Jimmy Johnson takes on the 2nd seed.
I had Jimmy Johnson, man.
Manning.
7 championships.
Oh, 2nd seed goes down in the Sweet 16. Oh no. Or the Elite 8. Oh no. Fuck it. I ain't have money on them anyway. All right, so the Elite 8 so far right now, Kobe Bryant, Jimmy Johnson. Ooh, this is getting good. All right, so let's get to the Jamarcus Russell region. Serena Williams versus Michael Phelps. Who moves forward?
Serena Williams, man. Michael Phelps is great. She's too dominant. He's almost as dominant as she is. But I man, she just There's more opportunities for her. Is the problem for Phelps?
Yeah, same thing with Bolt and with Ham. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get as much, opportunities to showcase your talent, but, we know you good, but, sucky for the sport, but, we still know the talent regardless. Maybe the committee next year will change the guidelines. You know how that happens. Wait a minute. What happened to RPI? Oh, no, that don't matter this year. We need road wins. You know how that shit be.
It's changed. It's always changing, man.
Always changing, guys. It's always changing, man. The committee can be bought. All right. So, when I say the committee, I mean me. So, yeah. So, third seed, Roger Federer takes on second seed, Tim Duncan. Who moves forward?
I had Federer. I got a tennis versus tennis matchup coming up here.
Oh, you said you got Federer?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I marked quick as a bitch. Damn, I must have didn't watch the final seconds of the game. Damn,
The basket didn't count. The basket didn't count, she.
Damn. All right, let me recircle Federer. You're still in it. All right, cool. So Serena takes on Federer in the Elite Eight. This is getting good. Tennis is getting good representation. NASCAR still got basketball in the building a little bit of football. Hockey is still in here. 14 seed hockey. Yeah, this is great. I like how this is turning out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Ryan Leaf region. Shaq versus T.O. Ooh.
I got Shaq, dude.
Hall of Famers.
Shaq, dude. It's the rings. Two very hard to guard guys. Shaq is just a little bit more for me.
No doubt. All right, so this is where little mid-major schools, they won their conference tournament, so they happy. They get to play ball. They get to pack up and go to this arena and play basketball for a while. They hope they get to make it. Oh, shit, they won a game. So they get to stay a little bit longer. They get to stay in the hotel rooms. They ain't got to pack up and leave yet. They won another game. They still in it. Like, okay, we out here. But now you got to play a 2 seed. And let's see where you at now. Let's see if you're still going to stay or you're going to carry your ass back onto the yard. 14th seed Sidney Crosby takes on second seed Barry Bonds. Who is moving on?
Yeah, it's finally over for Sid. Barry Bonds was just too good during the 2000s, and Sid, it was mostly that back end. And it was the ascension in his career. I still think it was fantastic. I still take it over Yao Ming. I'll still take it over A-Rod. Not taking it over Barry Bonds.
It's okay, guys. You guys got on TV a little bit longer.
Made the Sweet 16.
Yeah. If you're a person like Kyle O'Quinn, that can get you into the NBA.
Yeah.
Just that. So that's what's up. Shaq takes on Barry Bonds in the Elite Eight. Let's go ahead and get into the Freddie Adu region. Tiger and Pujols. Who's going?
It's Tiger, man.
Oh, man. These 1 seeds are smacking everybody.
That's why they won seeds.
All right. Yeah, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? The second seed, Tom Brady versus third seed, AI, Allen Iverson. Oh, God, I don't want to watch this game. But who's going to the final? Who's who's moving on?
It's Kobe for me, man. Still. I mean, I almost picked Jimmy Johnson because of those 7, but Kobe.
Oh, no, I said it wrong. AI.
Oh,
well,
AI versus
AI
Brady, dude. What am I thinking? I actually have AI over Brady because I just think he's a better basketball player than Brady is a football player. Plain and simple.
Yes, that's the game I was afraid to watch. AI moves on.
I accidentally gave away one of our Elite Eight matchups.
Nah, it's all good, but AI, yes. All right, so Tiger and AI. So you already said it. Kobe, Jimmy Johnson, 1 versus 6. Who's moving forward?
Yeah, it's Kobe. The 7 are really tough, but I just Kobe is the guy, man.
Yeah, takes a little bit more. Like I said, not trying to poo on NASCAR as a sport, but Kobe had to do it in two parts of that decade. You know what I'm saying? Like the earlier parts when he's a young player, then towards the end of the decade, he wasn't an old man. He came in the league at 17, so he had a lot of years to do some shit. So Kobe all day. Kobe moves on to the Final Four. Serena versus Federer. Battle of tennis. Who moves?
I got Serena. I think she's more dominant in her half than Federer is in his.
Yeah, because Federer has competition. Like he has people that's at his throat. The Joker, Djokovic, or no, how you say his name? Because they both use the Joker as like their nicknames. Whatever. Anyway, Nadal, all of them be at his throat getting it in. Serena moves forward. Shaq versus Barry Bonds. Who moves forward?
I took Shaq here. I don't know. I just couldn't fully separate Barry from the scandal.
Nah, it happens. Barry lasted as long as he could, but you're still good in our book. All right, now we have all one seeds so far going into the Final Four. It's not that many times that all one seeds go to the Final Four. You said that earlier. In the Freddie Adu region, for the regional championship, Tiger, the 1 seed, takes on the 3rd seed, Allen Iverson. Who is going to the Final Four?
Unfortunately, this is where it stops for AI. I gotta have Tiger through just because, all he did was win majors, dude.
We thought we was going to get it.
Close. Tiger's just too
Close.
good. Too good. If AI had a championship, maybe.
Nah, I feel
Tiger just has too many major tournament championships.
And the reason, like I said, these number 1 seeds are number 1 seeds is because the argument is always the same. Longevity of winning. And that's pretty much, what makes you good. Even if any of these other seeds would have not beat each other and got up there, eventually it was gonna be these 4. We all knew it. Sorry if the season was pretty much predictable, but this is where it get interesting. The champion of the Smush Parker region. Never thought we would say champion and Smush Parker in the same sentence, but we found a way to. Kobe Bryant takes on the champion of the Freddie Adu region, Tiger Woods. Who's playing for the chip?
This might be a little controversial, but I'm actually going Tiger. Just the consistency winning championships, no matter who it was, no matter where it was, and the fashion in which he did it.
The number 1 overall seed. They fall out in the Final Four. Oh no. The betting money is all fucked up.
Vegas loves it.
Tiger moves on. The house always wins. Tiger moves on to play for the championship. The champion of the Jamarcus Russell region, Serena Williams, taking on the champion of the Ryan Leaf region, Shaquille O'Neal. Who's moving forward?
It's Serena for me. The most dominant female athlete of the 2000s, moving to the finals.
Yo, that's like Texas Tech moving forward for the chip. Well, not really, because they wasn't a 1 seed, but it's kind of feel that way. Because Tiger and Serena, wow. So we got to pencil this in. Tiger and Serena. Now, I'm not going to lie. I did not see this like at all. I would have figured the simple fact that we've seen Kobe and Shaq not only together but separately, be dominant through this decade. I mean, I know Shaq wasn't as dominant-ish as he was early, but he still won a chip and contributed. He still was a guy you didn't want to bang with. And Kobe was Kobe. Kobe was giving buckets, getting buckets, even during the Smush Parker days. Wow. Tiger and Serena. Wouldn't have seen it. Would have not have seen this at all. So what do you think about this matchup, man? Tiger and Serena. Let's pregame it real quick. What do you think about Tiger and Serena?
Man, it's such a tough pick because I think these two were winning consistently through the decade the most. They didn't have really dips. They didn't have lulls. Tiger, fell off at the end, but it was, as long as while he was playing golf, he was winning. Period. Winning. Same thing for Serena. Kobe had a little gap in there where he fell off before he could kick it back up. Shaq, when he left the Lakers, it wasn't as good with the Heat, but Kobe and Serena, while they were playing their sports, were only winning. Sorry, Tiger and Serena.
No, that's good. That's good logic and that's facts. So the finale, what we've all been sitting here for, was us recording or y'all freaking listening. Who is the 2000s best athlete?
Man,
who's winning the chip?
I'm going back and forth on this one. I want to say Tiger, but having the last 2 years go to waste, I don't know if I can.
How about we do this? I want to do this real. Like, I'm actually going to pull up some shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to. I want to see this right. Because, boy, this was a tough one right here. I love this one. I mean, my other bracket that's gonna drop later has a surprise in it. Who wins that one? Like, that shit's amazing. So I'm trying to see what Tiger Woods. Come on, Wikipedia. I know they say don't use you, but you're the cheapest, cheatingest way I can get some information. I like you, Wikipedia. So in the 2000s decade, he won the Masters in 01, 02, and 05. He won the PGA Championship in 2000, 2006, and 2007. The U.S. Open and again, a lot of these championships happen a lot during the year because in their sports, tennis and golf, you have a lot of championships throughout the year. So it's a lot, but these are all significant because this is their Super Bowl, their Stanley Cup. The U.S. Open in 2000, 2002, and 2008, and the Open Championship in 2000, 2005, and 2006. Those in the decade was pretty much
they both won 12 major championships in the decade too.
Okay. That's what I was leading to. So they both won 12.
In that same decade.
Wow. So that makes it even worse to try to pick between the two. They both won 12.
You know what? I'm going Tiger between the two. Then if they both had 12, I'm going to go Tiger just because I think he was a bigger name. He was the golfer. There were other tennis players. Michael,
I don't in the women. Well, all right. So if we're saying in tennis, so we're obviously we're not separating the sexes. Like we're saying in tennis.
That's what I'm saying. There's no other golfer whatsoever that came close to what Tiger Woods was doing at the time he was doing. Maybe Phil Mickelson was in there, but damn, it's so tough. It's so tough between the two. I'm still gonna roll Tiger. He was the highest paid athlete until he had his fall from grace. He owned that decade. And I'm gonna say, even with the last 2 years, him being in the news for scandal more so than anything else, he was the athlete of the year of the 2000s.
All right. So the winner of the 2000s Best Athlete tournament is a surprise. It's Tiger Woods, and the reason I say it's a surprise is because Tiger Woods was the 4th ranked 1 seed. I ranked it Kobe 1, Serena 2, Shaq 3, Tiger 4. Wow. But that's good money, though, because Tiger Woods was definitely, like you said, 12 championships throughout that whole decade. So it's not a lot of lag you can have between it. So every time you pretty much saw Tiger, he was getting chips. And again, this is the 2000s, the 2010 bracket, just like players like Candace Parker can come up. Players like Tiger is going to come down. Jordan is going to fall off. Eli's not going to be seated as high. And we're going to have more younger players on the list, bro. So, Thomas, I appreciate you entertaining the bullshit and fucking with me on this bracket.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Make sure you listen to the Thomas Simmons Show Saturdays from 11 to 12 on ESPN Radio 94.1. Again, that's when or if we get sports, because it sucks that we don't have any sports. So if you have any bracket ideas, just because you want to see whether or not I can actually do a 64-field bracket on a topic, or if you just want to see how shit pans out, just DM me. Everything dope. 3 R's in it. Everything dope. And if you haven't listened to my 2000s best rap album bracket with my dude DJ 321, make sure you subscribe to the SS Experience YouTube channel and you can watch all the YouTube videos there.